CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS 80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of CoCoTALK Live. We are on episode 122. Today, we're going to be unveiling to the world a brand new game for your Tandy Color computer.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody. Hello. We are here. We are live. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live audio on Spreaker live right now. You can listen live interactive audio podcasting. The future is here. The future is now. And we've got a great panel. We've got people watching us live, viewing us live, listening to us live. There are people sleeping to us live right now. It's just the amount of liveness that's going on here. It's insane. We got a special guest today. We don't see him all the time, but I'm glad he's here. As a matter of fact, we got a couple guys from Jersey here. You know, we're used to having a couple of Canucks and a couple Aussies, but it's not every day you get two Jersey boys on at the same time. So how about we start with Al Hartman. Al, how you doing?
Yep. I'm here from Joyce. Hold on. I've got an echo.
Yeah, and I don't have my soundboard, so I couldn't cue the crickets. So how you doing, Al?
I'm happy to be on a CoCoTALK again and to listen to the show live, so it's great.
All right, well, I'm glad to have you here. He asked us to skip over him because he's doing things, so we'll skip over James Differendaffer, but we all know James Differendaffer as the guy who made my head explode. We'll be hearing from him later on today. Not quite from Jersey, about 2 or 3 exits down, but from down under in Australia, we got Nicholas Marentes. Good day, Nick.
Good day, everyone. How are you? Ready for another show?
We're glad to have you here, sir. Another guy bookending the bottom of the Hollywood Squares here, also from Jersey. Not on the show often enough, but we're delighted to have him. Tom C., how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just great. How you doing?
I'm doing good there, Tom C. All right, the Jersey connection is here. We got both sides of the show covered, and Jersey boys, it's a beautiful thing. We got from Texas. Last week, he was corresponding live from Radio Shack. Joe Burnett is with us. Hello, Joe.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Really good. And that's a wonderful shirt you're wearing there, and thank you for mine too. You were too kind. I'm wearing my Radio Shack, flying the colors and doing us proud. Thank you.
Yeah.
And from one of our foreign correspondents from the continent of Canada, we have Nick Marotta. How's it going,
hey. Oh, it's going. It's beauty day,
eh? is Canada its own continent technically, or not?
Sometimes we want to be, but we're
not. Ken Reichert is here. Mark B is here. Hello. We've got from I think it's from Massachusetts. Are you in Mass there, Paulie?
Sorry, guys, I was on mute. No, I'm in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay, you're close.
New Hampshire. Yeah,
New Hampshire. You still have chowder over there in New Hampshire?
We got chowder and lobster.
He's close to our 51st state. Greenland.
Good to
That's
have
exciting.
good to have you here, Paulie. We've got the man who takes live streaming literally. Grant Leedy's here from Kansas City, Kansas.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
We're doing excellent. Thanks for being here, Grant. Ratings are definitely going to go up now that you're here. We have in full RGB Rob Inman's with us. Hello, Rob.
Beware, I live. I've been playing a little too much Sinistar.
All right. Very good. Very good. Listen, we have New Jersey. We've got Australia. We've got Canada. Let us not forget Arizona, home of Arizona iced tea and Ron Delvaux.
Welcome, we're live.
On the bottom of the world, we've got Nick Marotta on Nick Marentes on the top of the panel here. Also on the bottom of the world, we've got David O'Connor.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be on the other side of the world at 3:30 in the morning, coming to you live.
Wow.
Okay, so what is Curtis Boyle saying? Curtis Boyle is saying that the audio of everyone else is quicker than me. Quieter. The audio of everyone else is quieter. Okay, let's try this again. All right, I've just turned you guys up. Use guys.
Check 1, 2.
Are we here? Are we loud?
Okay, thank you for pointing that out, Curtis. So I've just done my little slider control. Cristiano, how are you? And Facebook. By the way, can somebody share this feed out on Facebook to the Color Computer page and the I'm a Coconut page, the groups. All right, let me know if the audio of the rest of the panel is here. David O'Connor is here from Australia, and last but certainly not least, the guy who streams the show when I need a day off for whatever reason, Mark Bosley's in the house. Hello, Mark. All right.
Figure out how to do this sharing thing.
Yes, it's very, very, very complicated. All right, so we have now just finished panel introductions. We're now going to go around the room and play what have you done this week and what do you feel like sharing with the world in our project updates and acquisitions section of the show.
I want to go first.
Hey, Ron Delvaux, go ahead.
Okay, I helped. I tested a game that I can't talk about.
Okay. All right.
So I'll just sit down and shut up now.
That's exciting, though.
It's the game called Fight Club.
Fight Club, that's right. The first rule of Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. Very good. All right, well, hopefully we're going to find out about that game today. We're going to unveil to the world a world premiere of a brand new game for the Color computer that apparently Ron Delvaux knows something about, but it's been sworn to secrecy. Very, very good. Who else has got a project update or acquisition or show and tell or story they want to share with us about how their week went?
I have some acquisitions.
Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta.
Guy not too far from me, just a few streets over, it turns out. I had a few CoCo things to get rid of. So I got a few games in box and manual for most of them. Checkers. Wildcatting.
Woohoo.
Our very own Rick Adams.
Temple of Rome. Yes.
So I do have the carts for these. They're sitting behind me on the shelf. And a game I really, really, really wanted. This was one of my favorites.
Color Baseball.
And I didn't get the box for this one, but I got Popcorn.
Nice.
And I got only the manuals in box for these because you must have sensed I was a collector. I got the manual for Gomoku Renju. Gesundheit. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Math Bingo, which me and my math tutor will have fun playing later on.
Having a blast with the new math tutor.
And I wish I had the game for this, but I have the box art for Ganabuana.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So I was pretty happy with this haul. He was reasonably priced. I've seen games going for $50 on eBay, which I personally think is kind of high. But this guy had reasonable prices, so I was very, very happy.
Excellent.
So
you'll have all those paid off in another couple months.
No.
Did he offer financing?
Okay. Yes.
Low interest financing available?
Unapproved credit, yeah.
Unapproved credit. All right. Prices and participation may vary. Tax tag and title not included. Very, very cool. So you got some pickups there. Who else got anything to happen this week that they want to share with anyone?
I had the beginnings of a new album.
Oh, yeah.
A new project involving the CoCo and involving that EVK evaluation kit from Second Sound that we've been talking about over a few episodes. So the first song for the new album has actually been officially recorded and it's on YouTube now. So it's a big 15-minute long epic.
I have that in the news, so we'll show part of that. I really enjoyed that. Not only is the music good, but I love what you did with the video, the multi panels of the video where it's almost like you're seeing all the tracks visually as well as hearing them audibly. So it's like a multi-track audio and video presentation. Very cool the way you laid that out.
Yeah, it was something a little different. I kind of like the picture-in-picture thing, and I thought it would be good to people will spot one thing in it when they play it once and then something else a different time. But anyway, I guess we're going to get onto that later. But something that I did notice, everybody's familiar with this book.
Yes.
Everybody who's CoCo.
That one says Color Computer 2.
Yeah, you are.
You are Color. Yeah. Getting started with your Color Basic.
If we get that to go in the light there.
Yeah, look at that.
But something I noticed about it, that's the Getting Started book, right?
Yeah, with the Color.
We have the Going Ahead book.
With the extended Color.
On the spine of the Going Ahead book. You can't see that, but it actually says, as you would expect, it says Going Ahead.
Color, yeah.
But this one, the original one, Getting Started, says on the spine, Going Ahead.
Well, they merged them when the extended became standard, right?
Yeah, they actually made a mistake on the spine of this one.
It said Going Ahead, but it should be Getting Started.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know if we can see that.
I see that. So at the front of it says Getting Started with Color Basic, and this one says Going Ahead with Extended Color Basic. So they screwed up.
That doesn't have any extended in it, does it?
But it wasn't all of them, because I do have the other. I've got the Texas one. That one was the one printed in Korea, by the way, and the one earlier, the original Getting Started with Color Basic, COLOR.
That looks familiar.
Yeah, that's the Texas version, and they got that one right on the spine. That one actually says Getting Started.
Yeah.
You have a collector's item.
I've had that book for 40-odd years, and I've never noticed that. I only noticed it literally about 3 days ago when I was looking through them. Oh, hang on a minute. I got that wrong. And also in the collection, in my bits and pieces, I have, most people have one of these. It's
Color?
The what do you call it? The guide with all the basic commands.
Like the quick reference thing. Yeah, that's real handy.
It is. And on the front of this one, we were talking about the color on Facebook group. We were talking about the Color Computer 2 and whether there was any Color Computer 2s in the white case, whether they were actually called Color Computer 1s or 2s.
Mm-hmm.
And one here actually has Color. Oops, we get that in the light. I'm trying to do the mirror thing here. Color Computer 2 microcomputer, and as you can see, the picture of it is a white case CoCo, what people normally refer to as a CoCo 1, but it's actually in Australia they were actually referred to as a CoCo 2. So it's
it's not confusing at all.
No, not at all. Not even.
I think that might have only been in Australia, because in the U.S. that white. Yeah, that white full-size case was only the white 64K CoCo 1. It came out around the same time as the first generation CoCo 2s.
You see my CoCo 1 or CoCo 2 playing a CoCo 3 game there?
Yeah, it looks really good.
That's not confusing in the slightest.
No.
We both got some bouncing balls on our screens today.
Mm-hmm.
I have that book too, David, but there's nothing on the spine on mine. I have the Going Ahead with Extended Basic book too, but there's nothing on the spine on mine.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we could get another one then. Okay, interesting.
So
the only reason I noticed that was that I'm setting up a bookshelf. I'm reorganizing my studio and everything, and I was going to put them on the bookshelf. And then I was looking at the spine. I never ever looked at the spine in 40 odd years. And I went to put them on the bookshelf. I thought, hey, wait a minute, that's not right. So,
Wow.
Hmm.
So some variants there. So if you're a collector, now you're aware too that the original Color Basic book had two versions. There was an incomplete version that only had like 13 chapters, and then there's the longer version of that too. So I think the first version had something like 113 pages.
Yeah, I think. What have I got? Oh, these are two. Let me just have a look at this one. Are you talking about the going ahead or the getting
No,
started?
the original Getting Started with Color Basic. And in the U.S., there were two versions. Like on the first one, the first CoCo 1 came out, the first printing of that book was incomplete. They only had like 113 pages and only got up to like section 1. And the completed version has a table of contents that shows like 4 different sections. And the first book only really was roughly section 1 of the final book.
Yeah,
So-
okay, right. Yeah, both of the versions I've got here, I think they've both got 308 pages. So, yeah, they do. So they're obviously...
Al Hartman says you can tell if your manual was printed in Korea. It smells like kimchi. Oh, that's horrible. Very cool, very cool. Who else has got a little something they want to show with us this week? Anybody?
Well, I you might know this guy. It's out of focus, but you know this guy with me?
Oh, that's Paul T. Barton.
That is Paul T. Barton, and we had a little get together, and he brought his Color Computer 3 that's in a PC case.
The repack.
Yeah, we put it in the observatory. We plugged it in, and it is amazing. He has light show going on inside. He's got all these adapter thingies stuck in there, and he turned it on, and it worked, and it's beautiful, and he's got 8 mega RAM in it. And
wow.
Cool. Yeah, he'll probably share it with you guys.
Oh, that's cool.
It's
yeah.
Neat. It's real cool. Yeah, we had a swim. We had hamburgers. We had some astronomy. We watched a couple things in the sky. It was fun.
Cool. Well, my pickup this week is my Radio Shack shirt that Joe sent me. I'll just try to zoom in real quick. So here's my nice polo embroidered Radio Shack logo. And it's really nice from embroidery too, right? It's very, very like embossed, you know. So nice shirt, very comfortable, very light, nice material. And of course,
can you just say, "Can I help you"?
Can I help you? Welcome to Radio Shack. Can I help you? Can I get your name and address for the mailing list?
Just looking.
Just looking.
They didn't, and they didn't.
You have a
ask
battery.
me for
CoCoTALK is an unscripted.
What was that?
Do you have a battery card?
No, but I have some batteries though too. Hey, John Strong has joined us. Hey, John.
Hello.
Yeah. So thank you, Joe. And the T-shirt you sent, the TRS-80 shirt, like what Ron Delvaux's wearing, you sent a small one for my daughter. It fits her perfectly.
Awesome.
So perfect size. So so Megan's got the black TRS-80 logo T-shirt. I showed it to her. She goes, "Why did you get me a CoCo shirt?" I go, "I didn't get it to you. Number one, it was sent to us, but it's not a CoCo shirt. It's a TRS-80 shirt. So get it right." Right,
got to start the young generation.
That's
early.
right. So
She's not going to get the tattoo.
Maybe not this week. So
Radio Shack's going to take over again anyway. In a few years, it'll be big again.
Oh yeah, taking over the world.
Yeah.
Very cool. Who else? Anything else you guys want to share?
Yeah, Stevie. I got a new capture card. I'm not running it yet. This is the old capture card. That'll allow me to stream some of the Artifact games. And it's an HDMI capture card versus an old standard definition capture card. So that was interesting to get that done. I've also created a couple of icons for Nitrous 9 ease of use. And if that's interesting, I think we've already gone over the icon editor in shows past.
Can you show us the icons themselves? Is there a screenshot or something?
I could if I had it ready.
Okay.
But we can do that later if you want.
Okay, sure. And our usual Nitrous 9 segment of the show, we'll go ahead and talk about it then.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, I have some of the. I know VCF West is past us, but I have some videos and photos that I compiled from the team, including a couple of the permanent installations that were, I don't think, previously shown on CoCoTALK. So I am having a little bit difficulty uploading into that community folder. But I could just share my screen at some point and show you
that's fine.
myself.
Yep. Perfect. Okay.
I've got a couple things.
Okay.
Well,
Polly.
So real quick, I've been into a few things lately, but one thing I did want to mention is we're just about a month away now from Tandy Assembly. And Mike Rowan approached me a couple months ago and asked if I would do the CoCo class, the Tech Talk, on Friday evening, which is a tremendous honor that he asked me to do that. And I plan to be there. So giving the talk on that Friday, and I've been preparing for that. And it's right now it's on floppy disks, and it's primarily focused around the color computer, but it's applicable to all vintage platforms, and I'm going to be going over the various floppy formats and how to archive them, how to retrieve data, even in cases where traditional means of pulling files and data off of those don't typically work, showing how some of the tools I develop are applicable to the color computer and whatnot. But that's about a month away now, and I know it's competing heavily with VCF Midwest, and a lot of people are only going to be able to do one of those events. But if you're in the Ohio area, the end of September, by all means, stop out, and I'll be there that Friday evening.
That's very cool.
One other thing I was going to mention, and I haven't mentioned this to Mike yet, I'll have some equipment with me that if folks want to bring any of their floppies with them, to have them archived, or to if they're having problems reading some of their vintage floppies and want to get data off of them, or think that there's still important stuff on there, by all means bring them out, and offering that as kind of a courtesy service for folks. If I don't get to them at the show, if people want to leave them with me and I'll get them back to them, we'll do that too. But wanted folks to be aware that we can do that.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
I think Dave Phillipson has some discs that he was looking to save, and I don't know if he's going to be. I think he might be there.
Okay. What I may do at some point is just start offering it to the community, because we've got a lot in the archive. We've got a lot all over the place, but I'm sure that there's stuff out there, especially data that people might have created that maybe not part of the archive, that at some time they may want to retrieve, or just out of curiosity see what it is. But again, some of the equipment I have, it allows for retrieval at the magnetic flux level, and sometimes it's much more successful than just trying to drop it into a FD501 or whatever and trying to pull it off that way. So
in general these days, are the discs still fairly readable, or are we getting to the point where it's getting?
They are. The biggest issue is more physical damage, Nick, where if a couple things can happen. I mean, obviously, some traumatic incident with the disc where the magnetic media is damaged and bent, creased, stuff like that. Another thing that I see a lot of is there'll be mold and mildew depending on how the discs were stored. But in some cases, it's possible to open up the sleeve of the disc, pull the disc out, and actually clean it off, put it into a good sleeve, and try to retrieve data that way, and often find that is good rate of success.
Oh, good.
Yep.
So magnetic, whatever, is not flaking off or anything.
In some cases it is. I mean, but most cases, if they're fairly well stored and preserved, you don't have a lot of heavy weight on them, or they're not close to, any type of magnetic, strong magnetic fields, and in most cases, they're in pretty good shape still.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of. They're not 5 1/4; they're 3 1/2 inch floppies. But I've got a bunch of them here for my SY77 and SY99, and some of those discs are 30 years old now, and then they'll still work perfectly. So I actually got all the data off them and transferred them to MIDI files and saved them on a hard drive. So while they still work.
Yeah, so I can do 3.5 or 5 1/4. And one other thing that I'm trying to do right now is I've got an 8-inch drive that I'm trying to get going with it, and see if I can have any luck with that.
Wow.
Wow.
Very cool stuff.
I'd love to hear that talk somehow.
Yeah, it'll probably be recorded, but if people are thinking about going, there's some interesting talks happening that Friday, so I would definitely try to do what you can to extend for that extra day. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that's a new feature they're having this year, right? Is having the Friday night sessions or the Friday sessions, right? And so I wonder if that was inspired by one of the VCFs. Wasn't there one of the VCFs, maybe VCF East or something, where they had a Friday where people came in and did different sessions? I don't remember. But anyways, it's a cool addition. So
the other thing too with it, Steve, I think just like you said, they're just trying to expand it a little bit, and they were looking at how they could possibly expand it. So this was something that they came up with. But the other thing, it's a few extra bucks for that extra day, but they are throwing in dinner that night as well. So
okay,
seems like a pretty good deal.
Dave Phillips and Paul Friscarelli says, "Bring your old floppies." Oh, is that what Rob's saying? Okay.
Yeah, just FYI, we are planning. We don't have any reservations there, but planning to be there at the 10-day assembly this year.
John Strong of Strongwear. There you go. Very cool. And it's been joined by Paul Shoemaker too. Hey, Paul. John, did you have anything? We have not heard from you in a while, so you might have something to update us with.
Just some plans. Okay, we on the list is another 3D printer. This one will be a resin printer with the light and stuff, but it'll open up some things I couldn't create before. It'll probably be a few weeks before I buy it, but my nephew actually has bought the one that I was planning to, and so I'm letting him work out the bugs of using it. I'm going to send him some sample files and make sure it'll do some things. But one of the things I'm thinking about targeting, I do a switch for the multi-pack, and it's usable, but it's not, it's not quite the same thing as the original. And if it works out, I want to create that. And there's some other small things and stuff, and kind of expand what we can do with 3D printing for it.
I got a question. Are you going to make the CM8 door?
The CM8 door.
Yeah.
That would be a gold mine right there.
Most people don't have one.
Yeah, I don't have a CM8 anymore. I don't think anywhere. Yeah, I have my Motorola.
Could you do it with the new machine?
How long is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this
12 inches maybe.
Yeah, this doesn't go that high with it.
Oh, no, it's 11 and a half.
Yeah, it's gonna go.
Nick Martis has a CM8 part, but you'd have to get it from him.
Yeah, but the limit is going to be like 4 or 5 inches with the new machine. Getting the machines that'll do the larger parts kind of exponentially more expensive.
Hey, you could design the first double door CM8.
There you go.
Kind of opens up.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that you could do something that you could join together or glue together possibly, and do that. And yes, it seems like that really doesn't work. Do with the extruders, okay, and because I don't do detail fine enough, and so I've been looking at it quite some time, and had gotten the list narrowed down to about 3 that I was interested in. And I was talking to my nephew, who's a jeweler, the other day, and he says, "Hey, I bought this one." I said, "Oh, you bought one, okay?" And having check what brand. He said, "Well, it was giving some of the finest surfaces and stuff." And he gave me the brand name. He said, "Oh yeah, that was on my list." And so I bought him some resin, and we'll be sending them some files to test. And as soon as things settle down here at the new house, we'll be getting that and setting it up. So the reason you haven't seen me, we've been moving. I've been painting, gutter cleaning, you name it. We've been doing it.
Everyday real life stuff. Huh?
Well, yeah, about 10 years worth of it, because the people who lived here before were kind of elderly and handicapped, and so there's a lot of things that wasn't done that I've got to go and.
Well, congratulations on the new place.
Yes, and it's going to give you got a workbench area in the garage, which means the reason why I can get the other printer, because we couldn't have the fumes in the house, and so there's some good possibilities. I do have some interesting things that I was working on before the move for a deluxe CoCo SDC case that will have some extra features on it that I think people will like. It will be a premium price, but since the low end price market has kind of disappeared.
Are you going to have the cup holder on it now?
That'd be great. Just a little cup holder on the side of your CoCo. Yeah.
Did you want a cup holder? Okay.
All right. And
willing to pay for it.
If we were still in the 80s, we'd say make it an ashtray, but nobody smokes indoors anymore, right? So you watch those old movies, everybody's smoking in the old movies.
Yeah, I need to get set up and stuff to go back, but even my wife was noticing I hadn't been on to talk to you guys. Says, bet the guys at CoCoTALK's been missing me.
You bet.
Of course.
I have a question for you, John. How have you had any chance yet, or any time? Maybe not because of the move and everything, but I just wondered if you've had any success getting the play command to work out of Ed Snyder's Mega Mini MPI out of the OPL3 chip yet.
I got some sound coming out of it when I was playing with it a little bit, but I hadn't had time to get my software to where I want it to be. Okay.
So it only says John Strong.
Just making some noise.
Oh.
Just feeding into it. So, but I was working with the overlay routine for BASIC so that you could play the OPL sound straight from BASIC. And I was getting some sounds, but it wasn't responding. And I looked at what I did and thought, yeah, right. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. And started to work on it. But then our offer got accepted and all this stuff. So I've been swamped with that stuff. And there's no camera today because I haven't got my camera out yet. And I hadn't been on sooner because I'm trying to get Zoom to work. Let me in a CoCoTALK properly on it, and for some reason the installation on my laptop won't accept the exclamation mark for the name and stuff. So I had to pull out the desktop and run a cable to the router and plug it in to even get on today. So I don't know what's going on there, or I'd been on sooner because I've tried a couple times. It's like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. Did I download the wrong Zoom client or what? But so I'm here.
Okay.
Need a Zoom client for the CoCo 3 so you can run it on that. It won't crash.
Yeah, there you go.
No problems there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Paul Shoemaker, you with us? You got a copy on me, Paul?
And actually, to Paul, I noticed a message today to me. At least it showed today from on Facebook about cases for the Iron Mavericks 502 replacement. And the reason I haven't made one is I don't have a 502, or I have Ivan's board, and I was looking into buying one, but then the move came up. So
no worries.
Yeah, just to let you know, I'm willing to do one, once I get one.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. I have it plugged in right now without the case, and of course it works fine, but it would be nice to have a case.
I've got similar size cases I've made. It's just I would need either a 502 or that. I've got 501s, I've got a JMM, I've got a hard disk specialist kit, but the 502 I don't have.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if it's an odd size. It's just here.
Yeah.
I think that's just a normal board, shape and configuration.
Do you have a copy machine or scanner?
I do.
Okay. If you will scan that board layout, okay, and email me the scan, then I can see where the variations of the sizing is.
Okay.
There's a little bit different spacing and stuff in it on the holes and stuff. And I probably got that pretty close because the CoCo SDC uses the same. But I could probably do a prototype design based from a scan of the circuit board.
That would be excellent. I will do that.
Cool. Anything new with you, Paul?
Wait. When you scan it, get a ruler and put a ruler next to it in case your scanner doesn't scan it exactly 1-to-1.
Okay.
With a ruler next to it, John will be able to deal with any scaling issues.
I've got a ruler as well, so we'll do.
Okay.
And just for kicks, put your face on that copier.
Might be my.
But no pressed ham.
Oh no!
Not the other end.
No.
Definitely not the other end.
And
I did not say
close
that.
your eyes before you scan.
Yeah.
And Paul, you've got my email?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, my name at Hotmail. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you bought something for me before. I think
so as well. So I'm sure I can get it either there or off the CoCo list.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, like I said, just send that to me. I've done some prototyping before by using that before the boards were available. I forget which one I did, but I did something for Ed Snyder that I kind of had a prototype before he had a board available for me. So, that's something we can look at. Things are slowing down a little bit here, so I starting to get a little free time.
Sounds good, John. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Paul Shoemaker, anything new and exciting with you this week?
No, I guess but the only thing that I've got trying to do today is kind of getting ready for Tandy Assembly. So I'm going to make just a few kits of Dungeon Crawl, just in case anybody's interested. And it's my plan, fingers crossed, to finish the CoCo 3 schematic poster thing.
Oh, neat.
And then maybe one of those that Paul Fiscarelli is holding up. And maybe I will try to bring a couple 3 prints of those as well, just for anybody who might be interested. While hopefully there will be a handful of us, a group of us at Tandy Assembly.
That'd be great. Yeah. Okay. Representing the CoCo community.
Yep.
Very good. Thanks, guys, for doing that. Now, was it you who had the screenshot of a Wolfenstein title screen on the CoCo?
Yeah, I do. And I've been working on it a little bit. So the biggest thing is I'll have it running in the background now that I am in front of it. You probably can't see it.
Yeah,
it's slow but sure. I'm really gonna have to learn assembly language programming in a big way. So today I think I figured out how to move sprites around the screen, at least for the most part. I think I have to figure out how to use sync in order to get it to stop flicker, to not flicker as much. But I've got quite a lot of learning and investigation to do to be able to do that game right.
I'm willing to help you too. Okay.
Thanks, John.
So you need to ping me, and we'll tell you what to do. And I have tools if they happen to fit in what you're doing. So. Okay.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I think my next quest is to go try to find some samples of code. I know there's a few out there. I think Rick shared some samples of code, and maybe I can get some idea about how to incorporate the syncing with the clock to. I don't even really know what I'm talking about. So I gotta figure stuff out.
Even in the simplest case, you could just use the sync command before you do the graphics.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you leave the standard interrupts enabled, they're set for 60 hertz vertical. And so simple games, it doesn't require sometimes anything more than that.
Okay.
Just a sync command before you start drawing your graphics.
And the sync command just delays, it makes everything stop until it receives an interrupt.
Yes.
Okay.
And that way you don't get it helps eliminate sparklies if you're setting the palette. A lot of things. It just gives you even timing, okay?
Okay.
With a lot of stuff as far as your graphics. And so that's the simplest way. And some of my games, actually, that's all they use is.
Be careful, Steve's going to do an interrupt.
Yeah. Hey, are you on Paul Shoemaker? Are you on Discord? Because there's a lot of assembly talk going on in Discord. There's a lot of people out there you could.
Oh, that's a great idea. No, I haven't checked Discord. I am on there, but I haven't been on it in a while, so I will do that as well.
Yeah, that's a great resource for just Q&A stuff. There's assembly, all kinds of stuff on there. You can talk to people.
Great.
Cool. Well, glad to have you. All right. So how about we do this? We are going to take a commercial break, and then when we come back, we are going to debut a brand new color computer game that many people in the world have not seen. So this is a world premiere. This is an unveiling. This is a reveal. I can tell you myself, I have not seen it. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about it. I think a few people might have a clue. I believe it was mentioned there were some teasers. And there was
Ron's working on?
Well, I guess Ron was one of the testers, and he was sworn to secrecy. So Ron is familiar with it, but I am not. And I figured I want us all who have no idea what this is about. We want to experience it for the first time together to get that collective reaction and all that kind of stuff. So before we go into our first commercial break, I also have a new little bumper I want to play. I don't know if you guys remember, but I don't even remember when it was. But we had a contest live on the air where we gave away a speech and sound cartridge. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So yes. So the guy who won, his name is Andrew Bodner, and I'd asked him, I go, could you just record a little something saying, hey, I'm Andrew. I'm the guy who won the speech sound pack. So he did one of those. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna lead with that, and then we're gonna take a commercial, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Hey there, it's Andrew here with the Tandy speech and sound cartridge that I won from CoCoTALK Live. So next time, make sure to tune in. It may change your life.
Hey, have you got your CoCo 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
The Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, and this is Jacob Moore. Gotcha. And we are the Forest of Doom guys, and the CoCo Forever guys, and we are CoCo Fest, and we love Stevie Stroh.
Imagine a different world. A world where Tandy Corporation has the upper hand. Where the CoCo surpassed all competitors. And all you have to do is travel back in time without making a single mistake.
CoCo Forever.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
You definitely earned this office.
Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
You want to grab some food before we head back and look at that Alt Reality OS9 module?
It's only 40 years past due, but yeah, sure.
How does it feel? I'm still believing. Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Computer shopping has never been better at Radio Shack. Here's proof. Our new ultra-high-performance 386SX 20 megahertz computer with 85 megabyte hard drive, only $12.99. And it's from Tandy, manufacturer of the best-selling PC compatibles in America. Or get a 286-based Tandy home office computer with color monitor and hard drive, only $899.95. Shop your friendly nearby Radio Shack. Great selection, superior service. Nobody compares.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. Some people wish the CoCo came with hardware sprites. I don't understand. Why not pixies or fairies?
Oh, wow. Well, we're back. And we've just been joined by Chet Simpson and Simon Jonason as well. Hey, guys. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I haven't seen or heard from you since CoCo Fest, Chet, but we got you in the news, what you posted on Facebook this week. So welcome back, man.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've been just been really busy. I haven't had a lot of stuff to do with the a lot of time to do any CoCo stuff other than what I can do on my iPad as I'm moving around. So that was one thing I could do, but as that kind of goes down, I'll be around a little bit more here in the next month or two.
Excellent. Welcome. Glad to have you back. And Simon, the Madman Jonason, has joined us as well. How are you, Simon?
Yeah, pretty good. So I just had to throw a friend out. He just came by impromptu. He's like, excuse me, I need to do something. Go.
Well, you're just in time for the world premiere, Simon. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but there's a brand new game available for the color computer. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to show it off here in a few minutes. So if anybody who's responsible for the making of this game would now like to speak now or forever hold your peace, tell us what we're going to be looking at and the story behind it. Anyone?
I know, I'm sworn to secrecy.
Go ahead, Simon.
I'm sworn to secrecy, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we are unveiling it, right?
I believe it's called Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway. Well, luckily nobody watches this program, so whatever you say would not be heard anyway. So,
game is so secret that we can't even show the premiere on this episode.
So I guess I'll get started. So basically, the story behind it is, story behind it is a few years ago, but where I first came up with the idea. This is, I guess, what we've been talking about in the community as one of those inspirational games. So you'll see why in a little bit. But a couple weeks ago, Simon had posted on Facebook, and he also DM'd me his 3-voice player. And what he had said when he had posted it, or when somebody had asked about it, was that there was about maybe 50% CPU left over that you could possibly do a game or something with it. And there was a little bit of chatter about that, asking a few people asking, well, what could you really do with 50%? Is that really viable? So when he had DM'd me, I just basically took a quick look at it, and got me thinking. And I had a couple little doohickey assembly language demos that I had put together a while back when I was doing the Long Branch Never stuff, the tutorial series. And I decided to, start throwing those in there, just generating random noise on the screen and, some, very low level graphic stuff, and became aware that there's some real promise there. And it was functioning great. I mean, the player is fantastic. I know some people, they may, the sound quality or the sound of the sawtooth, that type of waveform, people, either they love it or they hate it. But to me, it's kind of, there's something nostalgic about it, and it reminds me very demo scene-ish and whatnot. So I was throwing a couple things together, and I was, pinging Simon, and I would send him updates. And, this is all, what, Simon, 4 weeks ago now?
Yeah, it's 24 days, actually.
Yeah, so Simon was, telling me, this is looking cool. And, then I got the idea. I'm like, I think there's a game in this, and I want to try a couple things. And it was from an idea that I had a while back, one of those, this isn't a CoCo project, but it could be kind of thing. And put a few cycles to it. And next thing I know, Simon and I are off and running. And basically, I'd work on a few things, start putting some, graphics together and throw it to Simon, and Simon does what he does best. And, he optimizes and he makes things faster. And, it was a real great learning experience for me, not having done a lot of assembly, but, enough to be dangerous. And, he showed me how to make the code work better and faster. And, he worked on a couple routines, and I worked on, gameplay and graphics and, the sound. I had put together a utility, quick little utility that I could just download MIDI files or mod files and just be able to export them right on the fly into Simon's player. So it gave us a lot of opportunity with various sounds, as you'll see in a little bit. But the work that we were going through, or the process that we were going through, is I'd code something up that evening, and Simon's 6 hours ahead of us, and I'd send him over the source. Simon wasn't using GitHub, but I'd send over the source, and he'd basically take it, play with it, tweak it, put some routines in there, and then send it back to me. And then the next day I'm working with it. And then, next thing we know, 2 weeks have gone by, and we've got a pretty well finished game. So we got Ron involved in last week, and the only other person that knows anything at this point is Paul Thayer. And, we wanted to throw it over to him, one, because, he's an avid gamer and he's got a lot of experience around that. He plays a lot of games on the CoCo. He's been developing games, but also is, experience coding. And, we wanted to see what he thought. He gave us a few tips. So we tweaked some things this week, and we are where we are today. And we're just basically ready to share with the community at this point.
Very cool. Now, do I need a joystick for this? I got the CoCo plugged in.
So it uses simultaneously. You can use left, right, or right joystick. It needs to be a deluxe joystick because it uses 2 buttons, which you'll soon find out in a minute. Or you can use the keyboard, spacebar, and enter key. And it doesn't ask you to choose. It just uses all 3 at the same time.
Okay, so I'll just do it on keyboard then.
Yeah.
All right, so let me switch over to the CoCo itself.
So one thing I do want to say, Stevie, you might want to turn the volume down to start, because one of the things I noticed is across Zoom, the sound doesn't come across as well as it does in person. And it may be a little harsh at first, but you can always, just bring up the volume as you see fit.
And the name of it is?
Wait, before I get too excited, this is standard CoCo, right? Like 6809?
It's 6809, but it is CoCo 3. So one thing the only reason why it's CoCo 3 is because of the fast interrupt and because of the high-speed poke. That's it. It's using P-Mode 4 graphics. It could technically be CoCo 2, but without the high-speed poke, everything that we're doing in the game, it would just be too slow. We were talking about having a separate version, but we didn't want to commit a whole lot of time to that. So it is CoCo 3 only at this point, but it's P-Mode 3, and everything you see, it's all software. There's no gimme whatsoever. It's all straight 6809.
So 128K too then.
Well, yeah, because you can only get a CoCo 3 minimum 128K.
Well, we had a question in the chat room.
So the actual footprint of the game itself, well, it's 32K. I mean, it's right up against the top of RAM. But the code itself, the game itself, is maybe about 3K, 2.5, 3K. Everything else is audio and graphics.
Wow. All right, so I'm looking at it here. It is called Dino Run Disc, and the game is called Dino Run Bin. Are we ready to run it?
We're ready to go.
All right, I have not seen this. Most of us on the panel, except for Ron Delvaux, have not seen this. So what you'll be seeing and hearing right now is our first genuine reactions to this product. I'm going to press the button, Frank.
Dino Run.
We're not seeing it, Stevie.
I see it.
Pin the video.
Is it making music yet on the title screen or no?
No.
No.
I'm
Okay.
seeing it, but not hearing it.
Okay, so right now it says Run Dino Run by Paul Fiscarelli. 3. Okay. Oh, look at this. It got the Dino Wars guy.
That is awesome.
That's cool.
Ah!
Okay, right now it's in a game over demo mode.
Yeah, so I have it set up where it'll run in demo mode. It'll time out after a few minutes and just start playing demo mode.
Those mountains in the back look really good.
Yeah, they look digitized.
Those are cool.
Yeah. All right. So what I hit is spacebar and enter are the keys.
Yeah. So any key will start it. Spacebar jumps. Enter ducks.
It says no internet.
Oh, because that's the Google dinosaur, right?
Oh, it's the Google dinosaur.
Isn't that what you get when you don't have an internet connection?
Oh, I
Dinosaur?
didn't catch that.
Is that true, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, music and everything.
Cool.
Music is good.
Wait, is this built-in music? Like I missed that part of it.
Yeah, but don't talk or we can't hear the music.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Game over. Wow, it's a one-hit wonder, huh?
That's right. So any key will start over again.
Wow, I didn't catch that. So the dinosaur is the dinosaur when you like try to open up Google Chrome as a browser and it says there's no internet connection.
That's exactly it.
Ah.
So
does Stevie have the all-time high score at this moment?
Well,
on my disc image, I do.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
You should retire champion now, Steve.
Yes.
Try to make a duck.
Good night, everybody.
Okay.
Try to make a duck.
Oh, look at that. Oh shit! Now the arrow keys move you forward. Does the arrow keys make you go faster?
Now the arrow keys change the song.
Ah.
Oh, cool.
Until you stop.
Ah. And it'll switch tracks on its own?
Yeah, so once it finishes one track, it'll go to the next, or you can select it manually.
I like the music. See if I can beat my own high score.
This takes place in Arizona. Duck.
Are they procedurally generated, or is there a pattern to it?
It's all random.
Oh, that one I had to duck under.
Yeah.
Okay. 565. Is that a new high score?
The one button is jump and one button is duck.
So, how many voices are we getting on this? 3 voices?
3 voices.
This sounds like a bagpipe kind of.
Yeah.
I should be wearing a kilt right now. This is cool. There's the third voice coming in, that high harmony. Duck. Like I should be using some Irish Spring soap right now. They're always after me Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
This is Ireland and Scotland, but get people mad.
Now, is it just this over and over again? Does it ever change? Are there bosses or changing of terrain or anything?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Going faster.
Ah, new high score, 936.
Going faster.
So it gets cooking, Stevie. So
That's neat.
I like that it's monochrome. I'm glad you didn't try to fit too many colors in.
I really like that sawtooth waveform too, especially in the bass. That's really good.
This is a true 40th anniversary gem.
Okay, you guys are supposed... What? Okay, where is Zoom? Why is Zoom showing me you guys? This is weird. Oh, because I was making the noise, it switched to me. Now there's Paul. Okay. No, that's neat. That's really neat. What do you guys think of this?
It's cool.
That's cool.
Now, when I first got it, I did it on my emulator because I was excited to see it.
Uh-huh.
My emulator was jacked way up, and that sucker would fly across.
Oh, the speed of it?
It would go so fast I couldn't figure it out, and I was laughing my butt off because the little guy was running so fast. I couldn't.
So yeah, when we were testing it, I thought I inadvertently sent Ron a test copy where I had it running at the fastest speed, and he was like saying that this is the fastest game I've ever played. And I'm like, wow, that's a tremendous compliment. I mean, I think it's fast, but I don't think it's that fast.
Yeah, right.
And sure enough, he was running it in overclock mode, but it does get going pretty good once you get up around 2,000 points or so, if you can get that high. But yeah, it gets going. I mean, for everything that we're doing with it, and it all software, again, no hardware scrolling, no hardware anything. It's all it's no gimme. It's all 60 horsepower.
Isn't this one of the few games that has music throughout the action?
Yeah.
Yeah, software based.
Yeah.
So, Paul,
really
Is
impressive.
Is that terrain the waveform that it's playing? I'm just kidding.
So what I think we might want to do with this, Stevie, I mean, because there was so much that happened in the last couple of weeks, maybe at some point we put together an After Dark or something, and Simon and I can go through
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
that we used and, how we were able to pull it together so quick. But that was one of the things, we pulled from a lot of resources that were already readily available.
Okay.
And, any of the music, like were just MIDI files that I grabbed, and I grabbed some of the ones that sounded the best, and Simon found some pretty cool graphics for the mountains, and again, we just were able to pull it together pretty quick. So, but we can go into more in depth, in a different episode or something.
Okay.
Maybe you guys ready to talk about release date or anything like that yet, or
today's the release date?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up. I'll put it up on I'm a Coconut and on the on 8-bit 256.
Maybe
so it's just
you
a
should
disk
send the
image.
sound file to David O'Connor so he can do some wacky things with it.
remember, you've got the M key and the P key as well.
What are they? Oh, music and pause.
Oh yeah, so you can pause it with the P key, and the M key will turn the music on and off.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, it's for people that don't like the music. If they still want to play the game, which that's their own taste. There was some people that were saying that they really don't like the sawtooth sound, but we just wanted to kind of prove that it could be done. Simon threw the player out there. And, we actually went through and we were counting cycles the other day, and the music player that Simon put together, the synth and the sequencer, is so efficient. It's actually more around 26% CPU.
Wow.
So there's quite a
job, Simon,
for gameplay. So
that's awesome.
There's a lot of hardware players coming out now, and we'll take advantage of that at some point in the future. But we just wanted to prove it could be done and really showcase what the 6809 by itself is capable of doing.
So you could take basically any 3-track MIDI file and incorporate that in with it, I guess, couldn't you? I could send you a MIDI file.
You've got to think about the you don't have samples, so you've got to think about you've only got a sawtooth wave.
Yep.
And that's why some songs sound better than others. I mean, obviously the bagpipes sound great, on Scotland the Brave there, because they have kind of a natural inherent sawtooth quality to them. So they translate it over really well. Some of the tunes that we tried were just like, no way, it's not going to happen. But it's
the reason I asked that question was because we're talking about sawtooth waveforms. I've got the big modular synthesizer behind me there. I could easily just select a sawtooth waveform on one of the oscillators and write a track specifically around that waveform, and do a 3-part MIDI file and send it to you guys, and we come up with a custom track for it or something.
Absolutely,
that would be cool.
Wicked.
Yeah. Well, I would like to go on record to say I've always been a big fan of Simon's sounds he makes. I call them the crunchy sounds. They're very crunchy sounding, and it sounds more like a synthesizer and less like an organ,
So is this based on stuff you did in your demos, Simon?
The player itself is just an expanded version of that. And I've showed Paul a lot of tricks along the way, along those past 3 weeks. I've thrown it backwards and forwards, showing him a lot of tricks of how to make stuff faster and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I've got multiple players, but I just tend to fall back on the sawtooth player because it's so efficient.
Mm-hmm.
I do have players that use samples and stuff like that, any kind of sample. But I just fall back on the sawtooth players because it's so efficient.
Yeah, the fact that you don't notice any stuttering or pausing in this game while it's running and scrolling and jumping and ducking and everything, and the whole thing feels very fluid and continuous. Yeah, I'm gonna play it again. This is cool,
and it looks good on Channel 4.
Now, will any women's breasts pop up, Steve?
Maybe dinosaur breasts. See if I can get to 1,000. Ouch. Okay.
Them needles will get you.
Yeah, Ron Delvau's experience with cactuses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, those mountains, that's a big chunk of data you're moving there.
Yeah.
And the speed in which the little dinosaur bobs up and down seems very fast.
Come on, Stevie, get to 1,000.
Yeah, just wait, Stevie.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Oh, so close.
15 away from it.
Yeah, man.
Sorry. 70, 90, 80.
Yeah, this is cool, man. This is fun. This is something that could like be on a smartphone real easy. You know, it's just like you tap, swipe up or swipe down for jump and duck.
Yeah, it becomes incredibly addictive.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me a little bit of Timberman too, like you're saying, because there's not a lot to do, but you just want to keep doing it.
Plus, the moon stays
What's a
there.
run game?
Well,
yeah,
that's where I actually came up with the idea. Is a few years ago, I was sitting on a plane, and it was one of those flights that had free internet service, and for whatever reason, my phone would connect to Wi-Fi, but there was no internet, and the dinosaur kept popping up, and I'm like, "What's with this stupid dinosaur?" And I started running, and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" I'm like, "This is pretty cool." So for the next couple hours on the flight, I was playing the dinosaur game. And at one point, I said, this would be kind of cool as a CoCo thing. This is pretty simple. It's, probably wouldn't be too hard to pull together. And sure enough, the opportunity presented itself a few weeks ago.
Are you impressed someone got the reference to that?
Well, I'm actually surprised at how many people haven't seen it that don't know about the Google dinosaur game. I mean, you can actually get to it. If you type in Chrome browser, if you do Chrome : / dinosaur, I think, or Dino or something.
So there's an actual game that Google has with this running dinosaur?
Yeah, that's where it came from. Yep.
Oh, this whole game is that game.
Pretty much. I improvised a little bit, and I added.
Oh, okay. I thought you just took influence from the dinosaur itself.
No,
I mean, if you look at the Google game, I mean, it's pretty much identical. So
minus
Google's got clouds. We've got mountains.
Okay.
I like those mountains.
Yeah, the mountains look really good, and the mountains look
the mono.
The mountains look impressive because they look very digitized. They look kind of photorealistic-ish, and it also.
I'm going to tell you a secret. I took a picture from the interweb, which was a mountainscape, which was actually a real mountainscape in Canada or somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And I removed all of it, and I just took it into one bit using. Paul, what did I use?
I used ditherlicious.com.
Ditherlicious.
Yeah. So yeah, I had some mountains in there to begin with, and they were pretty crappy. They're not like that. What Simon's got in there, he's like, let me work on the mountains a little bit. And I'm like, absolutely, have at it. And he came up with this 1-bit bitmap using ditherlicious.com, and it's a great site for converting files to 1-bit or mono bitmap images with dithering and a little bit of tweaking, and they came out beautiful.
So it looks like you guys are taking advantage of like the 4 sections of the P mode 4 screen, like the 1536 byte blocks. because of the way that it's so sort of carefully segmented. The top doesn't move, this next section moves, and then is that part of it, or it's just it just looks that way?
It is to a degree, Paul. I mean, and some of that's by design. And what we were trying to do is, just like you said, create different bands of scrolling.
Right.
One, it allowed us to control the flow of the graphics a little bit more, but we were also going for a parallax effect where the mountains are scrolling slower than the foreground, and just trying to give that illusion of actual movement there. So
I got a kick out of his little legs going.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him.
His short arms.
The ducking animation. When he goes down, it's pretty cool too.
Yeah, duck.
Yeah.
This is the demo. All right. Well, we're gonna play it again. Yeah, I got to try to get to 1,000. This is good.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. I know you did.
How many tracks are there?
3.
This is the what I call the Irish Spring one here. That London Bridge is falling down?
Yeah.
What the hell's that got to do with dinosaurs?
it's just one of the songs that sounded better than the others.
Okay, just because it fits the sawtooth, huh?
Yeah, about 12, 13K of the file, which is a 22K bin file, is the music. So more than half is the music.
And hopefully it just keeps getting faster and faster.
That's right.
Damn it, jumped too soon. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the London Bridges song.
I wonder if that's low bass.
Now, you don't get any points for jumping. It's just points for staying alive, basically.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Really simple scoring. Just go as long as you can.
Woo! Holy shit. Oh shit, I jumped that guy. I was supposed to duck under him. Was that dumb luck?
It has to be exact, but you can jump over them when
Oh,
they're flying
man.
high. Yep.
I'm thankful you didn't put stupid, when you ended on one of those, or, jerk. Idiot.
Wow.
The other thing is, if you looked at when you brought that up on STC Explorer, did you see the custom directory?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dyno.
I didn't have that on mine.
What it should say instead of game over is you've gone extinct.
Yeah, right? Extinction.
So I think one other thing worthy to note about it is it's all single screen, no double buffering. It's just basically bit blasting to the screen. Yeah.
There's no flickering. There's no noticeable flicker.
Meet Mad Lab.
A game like this would be nicely ported to like an Apple II or other 8-bit machines.
Well, I don't think the Apple II could handle the background interrupt-driven multi-voice music.
Yeah, we're really leveraging the 6809 for all it's worth in this one. I don't know.
Graphically, probably, but audibly, probably not.
I agree. I mean, with some audio offloading, I think it would be extremely difficult to pull something like this off on a 6502.
So, Paul, you went with the green and black instead of the buff color and black for what reason?
Well, we I did, so it's RGB on the VCC here, but if you play it in composite mode, you'll see that it's black and white, but you're going to have the artifacting in there.
Let me flip the switch.
Just wanted.
Curtis Boyle wants to know if you used stack blasting on the mountain.
We were looking at that, Curtis, but we decided not to. We got him going fast enough without it. So we're basically bit blasting.
Yeah. There's no stack blasting whatsoever.
No stack blasting. Nope.
You're going to hit 1,000.
That's the game over score though. That's not me. Will that become the new high score?
Yeah.
Does the game over high score?
Nope.
When you end, right?
It's just rubbing it in your face, basically.
It's basically saying machine.
Let me show you how it's
You're
done.
just so much better at it than you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's hard to see here, but I flipped the switch on composite, and I don't really see the artifacting. So.
No, in a VCC. So if you play VCC for whatever reason, it doesn't do the green and black properly in composite mode. It has to be in RGB.
Yeah. Well, this is on a CoCo.
Which looks good. It'll always play great on the CoCo, either composite or RGB.
Yeah, but this is the RGB.
But yeah, we're basically, to get back to Paul's question. I didn't want the artifacting, and there are some things that I think look generally better in this mode. I know a lot of people don't like the green, but this was one that I thought would probably be.
No, it suits it well.
This is a CoCo.
Oh, an arrow. That's new. Yeah, he's already at 2,000. So you can see now the mountains are moving faster at 2,000 points.
Wow. Yeah, everything's moving. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of get a preview of what you're up against. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Questions, comments, reactions from the panel, from the audience?
I like it.
I like it a lot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Stevie, do you think you'll get above 2,000 before the end of the day?
I who knows? Who knows?
All right, so how do you get this game?
Well, I can't do it now because we're in the middle of the show. I will add it to amacoconut.com, probably under downloads, software downloads on amacoconut.com, and I'll also add it on 8-bit 256 when you go to look at software, because I've got links to everybody's software there.
Why is it $30 at your site?
For our management fees.
Is there a cost to it?
Simon and I wanted to do this one as a freebie for the community, get it in everybody's hands so they can play with it.
Oh.
The other thing that we're going to do with this, after I have an opportunity to go through and document some more code on it and just clean it up a little bit, we're going to open source it and make it available on GitHub. So anybody that's looking for some tutorials and how we did it and pull what they want from it for their own purposes.
That's cool.
Oh, that's
very nice. Thank
Well,
you guys.
the great thing is like when Simon releases his music player and says, "Here's my music player, and here's the music, and here's what it sounds like," and you've got 50% CPU utilization, and it's left at that. Well, then all you have to do is speculate. Well, okay, that's great. We got music and we got 50% CPU. I wonder, what can I do with that CPU? And the average person's going to leave it there. I'm just going to wonder, what can you do with CPU? But Paul Fiscarelli says, I'm not going to wonder. I'm going to find out. And that was your mission, is what can I do with 50% CPU? And honestly, it's pretty damn good. So it's straightforward, fun little game,
Well, you've actually got 74% CPU. And it was done in 24 days. 24 days from start to finish.
Wow.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole thing's the fact that there's no SID chip here. It's all 6809. There's no gimme being used. It's all just the processor doing all of that. That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah. And that would have sold for $50 in the 80s and Point A million.
Yeah, that could have been a cartridge. That could have been a $49.95 cartridge, and it would have,
Well, I'm throwing my Dino Wars away.
Well, here's something. I think I've mentioned this before, and this is what I would love to see. I think Dino Wars, number one, is probably one of the single most underrated achievements on the color computer. I think the scaling and perspective that they did, the sound that they pulled off, everything else with Dino Wars was really I'm gonna go out here and say revolutionary, and maybe maybe I'm painting a target on my head, but I think that game was revolutionary.
I have to agree with you, Stevie. Especially it was done in 4K.
Yeah. Now the one thing that I will say about Dino Wars that works against it is you need another player. So I would love somebody to just disassemble Dino Wars, take the assets, take the basic code and graphics, and turn it into like a single player game where you control one dinosaur and you're fighting against waves of computer controlled dinosaurs. First one and then two and then three, and make it kind of like a Mortal Kombat or something where you just have to go through rounds of attacking dinosaurs and there becomes boss modes and stuff like that. But I think if somebody took that soul of that game and just, made it play more like a newer style console game, I think you could, get a lot of hours of enjoyment out of something like that,
Cool project, Steve.
So, Steve, one thing I did want to add is the name that we came up with is for a reason.
Okay.
And, we wanted to have a tie
to Dino Wars,
the history of the color computer.
Uh-huh.
And there's been some talk. So Simon and I mean, it just flowed so well. I doubt that this is going to be our last collaboration, and we've been tossing some ideas around. So we'll see what the future holds. I mean, I don't want to, promise anything, obviously, because things happen. But
are you guys going to do the White Castle game?
What the hell?
The White Castle game?
Yeah, sliders.
We're going to do Dino Run 2. Dino Run 2.
Dino Run 2, run faster, run harder.
Run harder.
Yeah, using the
Did they do Burger Time?
Well, you could actually just take the same assets now, and instead of being the dinosaur, you could be the pterodactyl and just drop little rocks on the dinosaur beneath it. So you have to do these little bombing runs where you're flying by and trying to bomb guys on the ground.
Pterodactyl.
Yeah.
I love that.
Stevie, do you want me to go through some of the comments in the chat?
Yes, please.
So Curtis has been very chatty.
What else is new?
Let's see. Curtis is saying this reminds me of Little Runner from Rainbow, a machine language game starring a Smurf instead of a dinosaur. He posted a link to that game in the chat YouTube. If we want to take a look at that or not. Richard Atkinson says, run it from a cartridge ROM on a CoCo 2 in address-dependent clock mode. I guess that's what he's saying would allow it to run on a CoCo 2. I think that's what he's implying there. Dragon Bite saying, this looks so fun. The music sounds great. Ken Reichert, now how much will you pay? And Curtis again saying, Simon, if we did a reduced resolution version or a 6309 native mode version, could it run at CoCo 1.2 speeds, or would not having the timer IRQ make that prohibitive?
That's not an issue.
Okay.
You can remove one voice. You can reduce the resolution. Do you want to see it in MC10?
Yeah. Now how much would you pay?
Well,
but wait, there's more. We're going to have it running on the pocket computer too. So
the Model 100.
Yeah, Fletcher's going to have it on the Model 100.
Ration calculator.
Dragon Bite saying maybe if they reduced audio voices and sample rates. We talked about stack blasting. It's not using stack blasting on the mountains. The Sawtooth also gives that distinctive 80s sound, says Dragon Bite.
Absolutely.
So a couple other questions in the chat. Who is shooting that arrow, and does it get you anywhere? Do you go anywhere? So just have to wait on that one. I purposely left it where the arrows are kind of the last obstacle, and you don't know where they're coming from yet.
Okay. So that's something to be discovered. Yes. Okay. So it might not be using stack blasting, but it might be having a blast with the new math tutor. Cool stuff. Well, man, great stuff. Now number one, thanks guys for doing this, and also, I had been given a game to preview before that I dropped the ball on. It came from Matchy. Matchy had sent me something in a Facebook Messenger, and I forgot it because that's not where I usually process things to do. I don't process my to-do list from Facebook Messenger. I usually look through the Discord channel. So that one got lost in my to-do list. But that was one where we've seen the video for it, where it's the guy that jumps up through the clouds and stuff like that. So we did have one that I should have probably debuted, but I dropped the ball on that one. So I wanted to say, number one, Matchy, thanks for sending that to me, and number two, sorry for never getting around to actually trying it myself. But the benefit of this one, at least, was Paul reached out to me through Discord, which I am a little bit more actively looking through. I look at Discord throughout the week. Discord is kind of my inbox and my to-do for the show. That's just how I process things to do, how we've been communicating. So Paul reached out to me in Discord, and then we spoke on the phone, and we kind of planned this today. So I would just say, in the future, if somebody would like us to debut something of yours, which we would love to, we would love showing off stuff, then the best way for me to keep it consciously in my mind would be to communicate with me via Discord, and also it'd be helpful if we're going to debut your game, it'd be helpful if we could talk to you as well. So for future people, we'd love to have you on, not only to show off your game, but to hear from you, the behind the scenes and stuff like that, the story. So cool stuff, man. Thank you so much, Paul and Simon. And Simon's been helping out so many people. I mean, there's a long history of Simon helping people create games that made it to the market. One of the first ones I remember was you helping Lee Patterson with Bouncy Ball. That was my first CoCo Fest back in 2016.
Yeah,
so,
we took it from 6 frames a second to 50 frames a second.
Yeah. So I remember you helping Lee Patterson and Bouncy Ball, and then obviously you've helped Paul Thayer with Timberman and possibly other projects he's working on. And now you've helped Paul Fiscarelli. I'm seeing a trend here. Pauls. You're helping Pauls. Do you have to be named Paul to get help from you, Simon?
No. One of my middle names is Paul.
So yeah, that's cool. So thanks for sharing that. And for people who've possibly asked me to show off something in the past, if I did drop the ball, which I have dropped many balls, I don't do them on purpose, and I apologize. But really, moving forward, the better way to remind me to do things is definitely in Discord. And we do have a CoCoTALK lobby channel where anybody can throw in a suggestion there in the lobby, or news topics and suggestions. So there's ways to reach out to us. So excellent. Anything else we want to talk about that? Any more?
I'm going to put my hand up once again, and like I said, guys, if you want to, we get in touch during the week or something, or in the next couple of weeks or whatever, and I'm up for doing some custom music for
Yeah, please get rid of London Bridges. Give them anything that will replace London Bridges, David. Not a fan of that track. It just doesn't match the dinosaur stuff,
David, get hold of me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get hold of me.
What's the best?
I'm usually on Facebook.
Right? He's on Bookface.
Something that would tie Arizona and London Bridge is that London Bridge is here in Arizona. Some rich guy took it down and brought it here.
Really?
Yeah.
Richard McCullough, president or owner of the McCullough Chainsaw Company. You know how I know that?
How do you know that?
Because I used to work at the Lake Havasu Marina during the summers when I was in college.
Well, there you go.
Very cool.
Proof.
Great place to work when you're in college.
Have you seen the bridge?
Yeah, I used to have to drive across it every day going to work.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
They didn't even know.
So Paul Shoemaker says he's got to go. Thanks for being here, Paul Shoemaker. So yeah, we'll make that disk image available on iamacoconut.com and on 8bit256.com. So yes,
you should put it on.
Can you just try to do a directory without using SDC Explorer, just to show you another?
Oh, sure. Let me switch over.
Just do a number.
Yeah, hold on. I got some weird stuff going on here through my captures and splitters and stuff. So I've got some screen manipulation to do here. So bear with me just a second. Okay.
There's enough tricks in this to you can't reset it. You've got to power off.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. Okay.
Every nasty trick in the book.
Okay.
So, Simon, we're not going to reveal too much. We got to let people figure out some things on their own.
Yeah. But just have him do the dirt.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mount it first, and then I'll break out of this.
Yeah.
I forgot there's no freaking key repeat in MS-DOS. Okay, here we go. Where the hell did it go? Dino run. So was it shift M?
Just escape.
Okay. Oh, look at that. It says Dino Run in the directory, too.
That's cool, having
the dinosaur in the directory.
The little dino in there. Yeah, that's cool.
How did you...
Yeah, how did I do that? I'm not going to tell you how I done
I'm going to say you basically manipulated the file right on the disk. Because I used to write programs to do this where I'd read in the directory and manipulate stuff on the directory.
I'm not telling you diddly.
Not telling you. I'm not telling.
Right?
It's an illusion. I'm fooling you, and you don't like it.
CHR string.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, no, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, neat.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you pulled up a directory on the CoCo and gotten semi-graphics in your listing? You know, and that could have been color too, but you just kept it to match the game mode of black and green, right? So,
yeah. It can be wider than it is
right,
actually.
Right, and you
wide now. It can be 10 characters wide.
And if you've ever like put an OS 9 disk into RS-DOS and typed in dir, you saw all kinds of semi-graphics probably before too, right? So there are ways to, because it's just a character symbol, right? So but we're usually when we save things, we're saving things that we have to type on the keyboard, and there's no easy way to type these on the keyboard unless you had an MC10, right? So, but there are ways to manipulate the characters other ways than the keyboard. So, no, that's cool. That's really neat. Roar. We need that roar sound when the game first starts. You know, when it first starts, roar, and then maybe a game over death sound. Roar. Got to get a roar in there somewhere. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. All right, let me switch back. Let me move my splitters and switchers around. Things are going crazy here. Cats and dogs, pandemonium. All right.
It's a live show. Anything.
It's a live. Yeah. Yes. And if any off-color comments were made, we're sorry. Good stuff. The dinosaur. What is Nick Marotta saying? What am I missing here? In the. Oh, Matthew.
I didn't know you could do anything other than A or B in the file type column. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't either. So. Cool. All right. I don't know where to go from here. So, how about we take a commercial break?
We're already at
My
11.
brain is processing semi-graphics characters in directory names.
Yes. All right. Well, since we have a couple of Australians here, how about we run the Tandy Australia Radio Shack commercial, and then we'll be back after these words.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Right! This Christmas, Tandy has a very special offer. A family color computer pack to take away at a very special price. This family computer comes complete with software and costs an incredible $449, a saving of $241.69. It's powerful, educational, and ideal for the young and young at heart. The easy way to start computing. The Color Computer Family Pack from Tandy. Get it while it's hot. Tandy, the biggest electronic store in Australia.
As you start your journey to CoCo Fest, you notice the road ahead is littered with rogue furniture. You realize you are driving on the Nightmare Highway. The new game for the Tandy Color Computer 1, 2, and 3. Nightmare Highway. Stunning low-resolution visuals. Digital to analog converted sound. 100% machine language and basic. What are they saying about Nightmare Highway? Nightmare Highway. Steve B. York says, of all the games released this year, this is one of them. Elkert S. Boyle says, this will not be on my site. Nick Marionette says, crikey, look at the size of that croc. Get your complimentary copy of Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
At cancanmakeit.com. If you got it for free, you paid too much.
Coming soon.
All situations depicted in this trailer actually happened. This true story has been anonymized to protect the guilty. Starting in the dead of winter, a group of bored teenagers blew stuff up, learned code cracking, learned phone freaking, hijacked and hacked. No system was safe. No one could catch them, or so they thought. A true story at the dawn of the internet. System hacked.
All right. Well, I think we're back. I forgot to put a welcome back. We're now returning to CoCoTALK at the end of that segment there. All right. So we are back. Yes. So we're going to get into news where we have some decent amount of news to cover because we didn't cover news last week, the Radio Shack segment, which was great. Don't get me wrong. But I think the show went long, so we just kind of skipped news. So we got some last week's news, some this week's news. I know I'm just going to throw it out there, and maybe we should have a few more people combined to do this, but I think we should start the discussion and ask the question, and then we can talk about this topic more. But the question I want to ask right now has to do with the kind of the formats in which we're providing the show and releasing the show, and specifically like with the live audio. What am I trying to say here? So we recently added live audio podcast streaming through Spreaker. So I've changed the main host of the show to use Spreaker because the main benefit of Spreaker was the fact that Spreaker allows us to stream live audio, and it's interactive live audio where you could be listening and chatting at the same time. And it sounded really cool, and I thought it was a good complement to the show because the show is live and interactive. So I thought adding one more layer to that would be just a nice complement to the service and a convenience for people. Let's say somebody says, I would love to listen live, but I'm not in a position where either I can't necessarily watch it, or I have a bandwidth challenge, whatever the case may be. I'd still like to get it, but get it in a slightly different version. So in my head, this sounded like a really good idea. I'm not sure that it's really taken off, and I'm not sure that it's a huge benefit. So I don't know. I figured I would ask the question. So this question is to the audience, which is 25 people out there right now, or actually 28 people out there watching right now, and there's half a dozen of us or so on the panel. What do you guys think? And maybe we start off by this. Why don't we get people to chime in with what is your preferred way to experience the show? So this question would be for the audience. Do you guys prefer to watch it live and interact live when it's fresh? Is that your preference? I know there's some people that say, I can't make Saturday, so I love the podcast. I love the replays. So why don't we get some of the audience to chime in on how they would prefer to experience this show? And then those of us on the panel, if we're on the panel, we're kind of already experiencing the show because we're on it. But what are you guys' thoughts on the different formats? I mean, we have YouTube Live. We've got Facebook Live. We can replay it on YouTube. We can replay it on Facebook. I'm also multi-streaming to Twitter via what the hell is that thing called? Periscope. So I'm adding all these different ways to experience the show as just kind of value added. And I'm not sure anybody cares. I'm not sure it's, is it worth it? Does anybody care? Is it a value to anyone?
There's additional cost too to do the Spreaker.
The Spreaker Live, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we're not going to hear from the people who listen to this as a podcast in the future.
Let's say feedback to us. Feedback at CoCoTALK at CoCoTalk.live, or leave us a message on Facebook or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I would just be interested. So right now we have some people. Ben Drakes is saying, I prefer it live. Bruce Moore says, I prefer it live. Curtis Boyle says, I prefer being on the Zoom call. But if I can't, then YouTube or Facebook.
I mean, you hit the one use case I could see for something like Spreaker. You're out and about 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon and you want to hear the show. And,
right.
So you put it on. But I don't know how often that happens.
Yeah, I don't either. So there are, and so I guess here's 2 questions I would like to know from people who are more of the consumer of the show. Bill Noble says live and YouTube replays. Is there a value to the video downloads? We actually have a video podcast version of the show. To my knowledge, that video is only available via iTunes, and I'm sure iTunes is probably the most popular way to experience podcasts, but there's many other ways to experience podcasts. So I don't think any other podcast player plays video podcasts other than iTunes. So we do have video podcast replays as well. And the idea behind that was, well, if you have a bandwidth issue and you can't stream it, you could download it to your device, bring it with you and watch it offline, things like that. So, we have lots of ways for the show to be enjoyed. I'd kind of like to know, are we doing too much? Am I spreading myself too thin? Are we oversaturating it? What do people want? What do people need? Things like that,
There's the other question too, is, I mean, if Spreaker is not something that a lot of people are using and there's not a lot of value in continuing with it, those financial resources can be put into other areas.
Yeah. Right now, I don't think Spreaker has caught on, but I also realize I don't promote it as well as I should. Probably every show at the top of the show, I should say, hey, by the way, we are also streaming live on Spreaker for your listening pleasure, or for people who listen later on, remind them, hey, we're also available live on Spreaker if you want to listen live. It's just, I just wonder what the overall value of it is. Ken Reichert saying he plays it on Podbean, right? So with the Podbean app or the Podbean website, which was our original podcast hosting, that was another way to get the video up. So Podbean, you can play the video. I think you can actually download the video straight from Podbean too, just as an MP4 player. So you could stick it on anything, a flash drive, a laptop, a tablet, whatever the case.
Yeah, I actually used Podbean before I started getting involved on the panel. I actually downloaded Podbean and was using that a little bit, and I did actually download a couple of episodes using it. So, yeah, you can do that, and you can transfer them to whatever you want: USB stick, another computer, mobile
right.
device.
I would say, since we're small beans, we should broadcast as much as we can, however we can, until we kind of catch on. And then once we have a large scale of people, you could probably scroll, back it down to just a couple things, and then they'll find us because we're well known. But since we're not well known, we probably should have our fingers out everywhere we can. My thought.
Okay, fair enough. And Ken Reichert just said, I'm getting static on Spreaker. Yeah, and here's the challenge with Spreaker, and I had to change the way I did it. It's kind of it was kind of a hack for me to do it live today because I only have so much desk space. I usually have a separate laptop that I use to live stream the Spreaker. I've got to split my audio, run it to another laptop, and stream it from there. Because I've got my CoCo 3 on the desk, I tried doing it straight through the same PC, and I tested it before we went live. It seemed like it was going to work. Apparently, it's not working. The audio is not working, so I've actually just killed Spreaker right now. But usually, when I do Spreaker, I'm using a separate computer, and that seems to make it work. But that's also an extra piece of equipment, an extra layer of complexity, and it's a situation where, let's say, if Mark Bosley is going to host, I don't even want to try to go through the process of figuring out a way for him to stream it, because he's already got enough on his plate. You know, I mean, I've invented so many wheels to do this show with 3 screens and all my setups in ways that work for me. I don't expect everybody to jump through as many hoops as I do for the show. And like when I'm doing the Spreaker now, I've got a laptop, so there's actually a 4th screen and another device on my desk here next to me to do it. But if people like that and benefit from that, and you know, I don't think the Spreaker is a bad idea. I just don't think it's caught on. But I don't know the overall total weighed value of it, of getting it live versus, you know what, I'll hear it Monday. You know, I just don't know, you know, so, and there's a lot of people chiming in. So let's go back and let's look at some of the responses in the chat here right now. So yeah, D. Bruce Morris says, I prefer YouTube. Explore VR says, I have Spreaker installed, but I haven't used it much because I'm usually on my PC. But you can actually listen to it on a website too. So there's a link in the description of the video where to listen to it live, although it's not working right now. Ken Reichert says, I would like Spreaker when I'm mowing the lawn and outside on my Wi-Fi. I mean, would you listen to this show while you're mowing the lawn? That's kind of sad. But David Lord says YouTube Live. Bill Noble says YouTube Live or on a replay. Rob Inman says YouTube is fine. Even in the car, I can link in the audio. And that is true, but there are some people, maybe a minority, but there are some people who are bandwidth challenged. You know, they've got a bandwidth cap and they only have so much bandwidth they can use. So we're trying to be conscientious of that, but listen, you can't have one solution that's the perfect solution for the entire planet, right? Dragon Bite says, I love to watch live, but when it is after the fact, the 2+ hours is overwhelming, right? Okay, so watching live, it is a commitment, right? So right now we're going on almost 2 hours. Nimble says, I like YouTube Live when I can catch it on Saturdays, Dragon Bite. So I like a nice long live show, and afterwards small segments on YouTube to watch later would be cool. We've actually talked about that, and that is on our plan to create these kind of little sections, these little segments, a digest. Ken Reichert says, live if you can use less data when you're on mobile. The YouTube replay is when I don't make the live. Get it on Podbean. Thomas Sorensen says, hi. Disney Saints fan says, I prefer it live. Midday Saturday is tough for me. Been watching the replay on YouTube. Haven't consumed it any other way. Well, it's Dragon Bites. Get it on a cassette and listen to it on my Walkman on the go. we could have the cassette of the week club, right? Brian Weasler says hello. David Lord says, what about reel to reel, huh?
You could use your Radio Shack battery card now to get the batteries to run your Walkman.
Yeah, right. I don't know. So I don't know that there's a single best answer to this. We have experimented with the time, and we've kind of come back to this 2:00 Saturday because this seems to work for most of us in the United States. It seems to work for the UK. We got a couple of Australians crazy enough to join us at 4 a.m. in Aussie time. So it's been hard to pick. It's been hard to pick the best time. And it's also, Curtis Boyle says, for live, remember on YouTube you can change the settings to lower resolution and save on bandwidth, even with video. Okay. That is true. I think the multi-streaming, to me, multi-streaming, it's a non-issue because it doesn't cost me anything extra that much. And if I'm streaming to YouTube and Facebook and I'm also streaming to Twitch and Mixer right now too, which are gaming sites that I'm sure nobody's watching us on, but it's all part of the same solution. And that also included Periscope, which is feeding Twitter. I'm pretty sure maybe 2 people have seen the Twitter feed, but I don't really care about that because that's just there, and that's even a non-consideration for me. I'm really more concerned about really 2 things. Does anybody care about live audio? And is there a tremendous value to the offline video replays that you can get from Podbean and iTunes, the video podcast? That's kind of what I want to know, because there are directions I can take to consolidate to a single audio hosting, because right now we're paying for 2, and I really want to pick one over the other. I don't see the benefit of paying for both of these plans right now if it's not helping the audience, you know. So, anyways, things to think about. We might not come to a conclusion right now. We don't need to beat this to death, but I want to throw the thought out there. I'd love to get some feedback throughout the show, and you can also send us email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live. We're going to go on to news. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before we jump into news? Anyone? Going once, going twice? Alrighty then. Well, then we're going to jump into the news part of the show without any soundboard whatsoever. This is the picture that Curtis pulled up of the little runner. Unfortunately, I don't think I can zoom in. I guess I'd have to zoom in on the browser. All right, so this is the game that Curtis mentioned that Paul Fiscarelli's game reminded him of a Smurf running over mushrooms and tree stumps. Actually, that Smurf looks pretty good. The blue and yellow on the green look pretty good. So that was a picture of that, but I don't know that we have that game anywhere. What did we just get from Curtis? I do watch the video podcast on occasion, multiple times per year, live audio. I just use YouTube on a low res setting. Thomas Sorensen says I use YouTube. It seems like most people are getting it on YouTube, and that's fine. All right, so that was a picture of that. So what else do we have here on our stuff? So, all right, this is from our Dragon group on Facebook. This is for those of you who are in the UK and in the EU. We also have a Dragon group. I want to try to represent some of them as well. So this came from a person, I'm not even sure if I can pronounce the name, Nur Derry. I've got two Dragon 32s that have different boards in them. The one with the lower serial number has a separate detachable memory board, and the other one has one board and 32K ROMs are soldered. I'm not familiar with Dragon boards at all, to be honest with you, but I thought this was kind of cool just to see the innards of a Dragon, because I have not seen the innards of a Dragon yet. So here's one board. Look at that whole power supply thing back there. That's fairly bulky. Those are our serial ports, our RS-232, things like that. Here's our other board. So, yep, I just thought that was kind of... Look at that little memory piggyback board. That kind of looks like a Boomerang or a Triad or something, huh? Where that memory's kind of stuck up on there. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with the Dragons yet. I've got one. I've got the US Dragon, but I haven't really cracked mine open yet. Anybody familiar with these boards or the variations of the Dragon boards?
Nope.
It's interesting. The memory board on it looks like a hybrid between a CoCo 1 or 2 design and a CoCo 3.
Yeah.
CoCo 3's got 512 expansion sitting up on top.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Hmm.
Cool stuff. Lots of cool stuff on that Dragon board. Here's another one. This looks like a problem that could be RAM or CPU or VDG. So anyone got this screen before? And we got some people chiming in. Could be RAM. Try typing motor on and then listen for the click if you hear the sound.
To test the CPU.
Oh, Richard Atkinson says the Dragon was going to be a 16K machine. The original board was laid out for 16K. Okay, so that might have been an older one. All right. So, yeah, so this right now, I don't know a lot about hardware, but this could be a VDG problem. This could be a RAM problem. This could be a CPU problem. Those are the common things that affect that, right? James Differendaffer says it could be problems from the ROM left over. Could be bad RAM. I don't know if you got an answer to that question, but these are the things that happen out there on Facebook. People post pictures and hopefully get some help on that. So that was some stuff going on in the Dragon group here. Before I leave this group, let's see what else is new and exciting in the Dragon group right now. I've made some progress. Okay, so he's got a second picture where he's gotten rid of the patterns. Now he's just got a single color. Okay, so that's good. So that could be RAM. Okay, cool. This is in the CoCo group. Okay, hi guys. I've got a monitor, 1084 that shows magenta background, and then I turn on the CoCo 3 when I turn it on. So when I turn on my CoCo 3, I'm getting a magenta background. Is this easy to repair? It's not the CoCo 3. I have another monitor, and the display is fine. So this is a Commodore monitor. I'm assuming is composite. It looks like the screen has an issue with the monitor. Okay, I don't know that we got an answer to that question here.
I made a few replies in that topic, and
So this is a composite monitor, right? This Commodore screen.
They're composite, but inside they've all got RGB going to the back of the picture tube.
It's a predecessor to S Video, the Commodore. So they probably it may have a composite, but it may also have that Commodore connector, which is basically S Video before S Video came out.
Oh, okay. So we're not sure how he's connecting to this then. So
I thought he mentioned in there somewhere too that it was doing it with the magenta screen without the computer turned on, or maybe I'm wrong there. But
so it's the monitor itself. He's saying it's not the CoCo. If I plug a different monitor into the CoCo, the screen is fine. So this screen has got a magenta screen. So now really the question is how do I fix a magenta screen? It's not really a CoCo question. It's more of a CRT question. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, I don't know how to answer that question. You said you gave him some feedback there, David?
Yeah. I used to work as a qualified TV repair tech, and that looks like either a screen resistor fault on the back of the picture tube, on the back of the neck board.
Okay.
Sometimes they can have dry solder joints on them, and one of the colors can rise up in level, and you can get an effect like that. A few of us were talking about that, suggesting that would be a good place to look, resolder dry joints on there, and see if it comes good after that.
Okay, cool. So that sounds like a hardware question. Now this I thought was interesting. So Sheldon McDonald posted this. I think this was posted last week. So if you guys are familiar with the game Chopper Strike, he's got it now on a ROM cartridge. And what is the subject of this post? The subject of this post is I was doing some testing and I found it was just as easy to put machine language based games from Disk Basic to EEPROM using almost the same copy ROM to memory first and then exec it as you do with the basic EEPROMs. So I'm wondering if anyone is interested in such a tool that rewrites your bin file to flash and then load it from cartridge. Currently, it needs to be less than 16K. It could also write a loader for bigger bin files to use the Game Master cartridge EEPROM. Does anyone want to expand their cartridge library? You know what this made me think of, honestly, is that we need a solid user-friendly tool for the CoCo Flash, that Jim Brain's product, where you have all these banks of memory where you can load stuff into there. So he's come up with a way to take games and convert them to run off of basically a cartridge image. And I'm assuming this is picture as a cartridge where he put Chopper Strike on there. So it's kind of cool that you can take a program and make it boot from ROM. But to me, I thought it would be even cooler if we have this holy grail solution for the CoCo Flash, where somebody's made the holy grail way to just get stuff on the CoCo Flash real easy, But has anybody experienced this kind of stuff here? Taking stuff and booting it to ROM? Crickets? Yep. Okay. Well, anyways.
Well, the SDC has slots you can.
Yeah, the SDC has got a few banks where you can load something into the flash on that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that process could go into a bank on the SDC as well. Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of cool. That just made me think of the CoCo Flash. So I'm hoping that someday we've got the holy grail CoCo Flash menu and loader system. All right, Mike Wilson. Hey guys, new to the group. I wanted to share my eBay find from this week. Had a CoCo 2 when I was a kid. Time to relive it. So that's kind of cool, right? I remember my first eBay CoCo. So nice one, right? They got the upgraded keyboard. I don't know what the hell that is back there. Nice CRT television. Yeah, looks good. What is it? I don't know what that is in the back there. It almost looks like an MC10 thing. Okay, what is Curtis saying? While one can run most of these just fine off the SDC and have all the games on it, but one can also enable ROM double speed up poke if it's on ROM for the CoCo 1 and 2. That's one benefit to ROM, right? So it's always nice to see somebody getting back into the CoCo, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. This was posted from Mike Wilson about a week ago, and then people are responding to him, telling him about the CoCo Crew archive and the Color Computer Archive, CoCo Crew podcast, YouTube channels, CoCo SDC, right? So people are just flowing off with some responses on things to check out now that you're new to the CoCo. So cool stuff there. Ed Snyder, I think this was posted last week, but this was a thing he mentioned where kind of similar to what I guess you did, Paul, where you're taking a MIDI file and converting it to Simon's Sawtooth. This was a tool to, I think, output to the OPL chip.
That is that.
Through Windows.
The version. So.
Yeah.
And then this file would play like this in OpenMPT.
That sounds good, huh?
And then
Delta.
Yeah. Sounds good. And I mean, whenever go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that's playing off the tracker on Windows, and then he used a tool to convert that into a file that'll play on the CoCo, the Mega Mini MPI, the APL3 chip.
Gotcha.
Using his chip player.
So Stevie, I was just going to add when you mentioned that that's the exact program I used, OpenMPT, and
okay.
What you're seeing right there is the track information. It's text based.
Okay.
Copied all that and pasted it into the little utility I wrote, and it converted it to byte format that could just be used with Simon's player.
Neat. But I love it that we have all these tools out there where you can just find music and just port it over to the CoCo essentially, you know? And this sound to me, this sounds so Sound Blastery. You know, I know that's basically what the chip is, right? It's a Sound Blaster style chip, but this reminds me of, you know, early PC games on the Sound Blaster. Sounds cool. Mm-hmm. Sounds cool. Emerson Costa posted this picture here. He's got a tool that can take ASCII art and convert it to a Semigraphics 4 screen. All right, so I'm trying to see, does he have a link to download this? There's a GitHub for it. So there's a utility where you could basically put in text characters as ASCII art and then have that art converted to color. So I thought the picture was kind of cool. And yeah, so there is a link to this. I think there's some translation going on here. So hopefully what you get on GitHub, you'll be able to understand. But that looks cool. Where was the original link? So it's Facebook groups. It's under GitHub. And that GitHub link is got the basic file and then a PNG file. So there's an actual ASCII to art sg4.bas. So there's a basic file showing you how to do this if that's something that somebody wants to play with. So that looks pretty cool. What else we got going on here? So now I don't know if this guy, Nielsen, not Willie Nelson, but Will Nielsen says, another new keyboard made by Ed Snyder. It looks great. Yes, and I like the blue keys here. I was not sold on the blue keys at first, but this layout here with the light, the dark gray, and the blue, I think that's a nice contrast there. Just there's no shortage of color combinations that somebody can really pick here.
You mean color?
Color, yes. I'm sorry. Yes. But yeah, no, I like that. The blue does not. Before, I don't know. I was looking at the blue. It just seemed kind of, I don't know, childish. You know.
No, it's neat. I like it.
Yeah, that looks kind of cool.
I might even. Ed Snyder sent me the blue keycaps for mine too that I can swap over in a swapping tool if I want to. I haven't done it yet, but I might get inspired and actually try it out and see what I think. Leave it there for a week or whatever.
Yeah. I think this is a neat little combination of colors there. So that's cool. Will Nielsen. Cool. Thanks for sharing that picture. So this is a video of. So what was the actual? The description of this is this is Roger Taylor's netmate running a BBS that was designed for the Amiga that's really heavy on ANSI, right? So it's just kind of showing how this program can handle the colors and the graphics and everything. All right, so he's connecting. Here we go. Yeah, this is look at that. Look at the ANSI materializing, huh? Who are you? That looks good, right?
Yeah, it does.
Very good.
Enter your password.
That's pretty responsive.
Yeah, it's pretty responsive and Very ANSI heavy, where you got like positions on the screen and everything else, huh? Look at that. I remember, I forgot what the program was called. The Draw, I think it was called. I used to use back in the day to make ANSI stuff. Look at these images, man. These things are cool. So what did the Amiga have? Did it have like an IBM font set, or is this all just normal ASCII letters and symbols and stuff?
Extended ASCII.
You can see the cursor is just refreshing on that screen very quickly there too, as it's redrawing everything, right? Lots of features. Man, that's impressive, huh? This is like ANSI on steroids, man.
Look at that.
Incredible artwork, man.
Yep. This program does support the high-speed serial ports for the Mega Mini MPI.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of colors. The font looks really good. I never thought I'd get excited at looking at a BBS, but this is actually pretty damn cool. You know?
I wonder if it supports as many colors as Twilight Term.
I mean, there weren't any more than 16 on normal PC ANSI anyways. I don't know what the Amiga had.
The responsiveness of it is quite impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, this is heavy. This is some heavy ANSI.
Not bad for 2 megahertz.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about terminal emulation, was there ever a TN3270 terminal emulator released for the CoCo? Or like interfacing with the mainframe? It's anybody. I mean, just out of curiosity. I mean, because used to go into stores, a lot of department stores, they stayed on legacy mainframe for a long time. You could look at the screen of the high dollar computer setting, there in front of them, and all they're running is a TN3270 terminal, to do data entry and run the applications on that mainframe. So, curious or surprised nobody came up with something like that for the CoCo.
Oh, okay. Curtis Boyle said Twilight Term supported 32 colors. I didn't realize there were that many colors in there. I don't know the answer to that question, though, Joe.
Yeah. Just curious.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah. Now, I wish Chet Simpson was still here because we had one of these news articles. So he posted this on August 14th, so it's been about 10 days ago. But he was talking about how he has been working on this archive. Okay, greetings. I haven't had a lot of time for CoCo, even in the internet these days, but I kind of expected my summer to go this way. The result is a full database containing a slightly corrected version of the Delphi form archives, which I highly recommend reading at 300 baud. The database, as stored on MySQL, is roughly 62 megabytes, excluding the search word tables to speed up searching by keyword. It's my hope someone with far more time than myself will be able to make a searchable version of this available via a web page. See below for more info. Getting the database created required a few changes to the archive, some of which were done by hand, others with an import script. Most were trivial changes but required some verification and research before committing to the change. These changes made so far: both archive files were merged into a single file. The begin and end of the archives were trimmed to remove output from the Delphi session. The middle of the archive had to be edited to compensate for disconnected while downloading messages. Unfortunately, when the archive effort was restarted, it was done at a message 53,000, resulting in a loss of 456 messages. Okay, several messages contained certain dashes, which had to be used by Delphi to separate messages. That's been updated to use instead of a single dash, but a double dash. Messages formatting was not updated. People like to hit enter at the end of the line back then, and they didn't. Delphi formatted it with the terminal as being sent to. Since the archive was acquired from the terminal, that automatic formatting was applied. All messages containing a blank topic had their topics remapped. The timestamp format was fixed on a handful of messages late in the archive. Not sure why they changed this. Okay. Corrections were applied to. There's a lot of information here, right? So basically, he's got a lot of information on this database, but what he's doing here is giving us a way to have access to the history of Delphi. And that was before my time as far as that. I mean, I was around, but I was not into Delphi. I was not into online on the CoCo. So I missed that boat. So there's some feedback on here, and I wish Chet was still here. But it sounds like it would be really cool if this database and this information could be pulled up from a website where you could just search for a subject or a person's name or a topic or whatever, and then get the posts from that. So I think the groundwork has been laid for that, and hopefully we'll see more on that, because again, that's a time that I missed, and it would be kind of neat to just be a fly on the wall of history and see what type of conversations happened back in the day. I mean, I've heard of certain feuds and rivalries and wars and certain attitudes and characters back in the day that were before my time. It'd be interesting to see some of those scathing threads, some of the drama from the past. And this might be, not to mention knowledge and other beneficial things, but it would also be kind of fun to look back at some of the historical disputes that have happened, what's that?
8-bit trolling.
8-bit trolling, right? So that seems like a cool project. So I'm hoping that we'll see more from that.
You find the same argument still going on today.
Yeah.
Probably. That's what I was thinking.
OS 9 versus RS DOS. Why is there not a real-time clock?
I sent you the hard drive and you never paid me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, surprisingly, Jim Gary has released some stuff. This one's called Bomb Squad. I think it has nothing to do with Rick Adams or John Strong stuff. Bomb Squad. So, do you need instructions? Let's see what's going on here. You're a member of a bomb disposal unit. You must find a bomb hidden somewhere in the corridors of this building. You'll be shown a map of the building for a few seconds. Your start location is the X. So you've got to find your way through the maze to find the bomb. Okay. So here's the maze. There you are. And then now you are... Oh, and the clock is ticking, huh? So it's a maze runner style game where you got to find the bomb before we run out of time, huh? Dragon Bytes is asking if NetMate supports the serial ports on the Mega MPI. I think it does, yes? Okay, what is that? You disarmed the bomb. Look at that. So that's kind of cool. Another Jim Gary project. This one he posted on the MC10 group too. This one is called Advanced Lawn Mowing Simulator, right? And for those of you who are not satisfied with a basic lawnmower simulator, this one is an advanced one. Oh, did you get to choose the type of grass you want to mow? I mean, I have never heard of a lawn mowing simulator right now. I've actually done this in real life every now and then. So
there it is.
Ah, you hit the house. You've been killed. I have never been killed on a lawnmower before. So apparently there are dangers with. Oh, this is awesome.
That's cool.
Don't hit the house with your lawnmower or you will die. There are inherent risks in lawn mowing. So,
look at the sun at the top.
Yeah.
It's a hot day.
It is.
Crank it along there. It's faster as you get more lawn mowed.
Okay.
Looks
up. Look at that. Boom. You deserve a corned beef sandwich. I always like a nice cool glass of water after this. So Jim Gary, been big on this. So I don't know if we had mentioned this one in the past or not, but this is, and of course I'm going to butcher the name. Let me zoom in on here so I can get the name hopefully right here. I'm zooming. So Noriko. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, but she has been doing a lot of videos on long plays of text adventures. This one is Scott Adams' Grand Mystery Adventure number 7. I'm not sure if and this is being played on a CoCo 3. So I'll try to post links to all these. I didn't put them in the description ahead of time, so I don't have the show notes for this, but we'll try to get all those going.
Are we talking days?
This is a 20-minute video.
Oh.
And so it's
The
long.
sign, it says the same as some of the other signs, authorized personnel. So
Okay. So Yeah, so it's kind of a walkthrough too. So if you found yourself never finishing an adventure game, you might want to watch some of these. So that's kind of cool. So we're seeing some text adventures, and we're also seeing some playthroughs, and it's all on the CoCo, right? This was posted by Joel Iwi and Awi. Okay, this is a short video showing strange color artifacts on my vintage MM1 computer in 256 color mode. And speculating at the moment that the cause is a bad DRAM chip on the CPU board. MM1 has 8 meg memory board, and in this configuration, I believe the MM1's CPU board is used in a way similar to chip RAM on the Amiga. So yeah, I'm not sure. Curtis posted these for me to run. I'm not even sure what I'm showing you right now.
This video is supposed to show
There we go.
strange color artifacts on my MM1 display.
That looks really good.
In 256 color modes. And I don't know if the video is going to show them very well. And here, under the eyes, there are flashing pixels. Also, right here on the scarf, and right down here at the bottom, those pixels shouldn't be flashing. This display mode is just a standard color lookup table. Tricks going on in this shouldn't be.
Okay, so I've never seen an MM1 before, so I thought this was kind of cool just to see it. I think this was posted in Facebook, and maybe there's some comments to it on Facebook. So there are certain things that are showing up here that I guess aren't supposed to be showing up, so that's probably a hardware-based problem, right? This is part 2 to the strange artifacts. Let's see what
Okay, here's another example of strange color artifacts on my MM1. Just to show this is an MM1.
Okay, what is Curtis saying? Since MM1 was one of those CoCo 4s that a lot of people have not seen, I thought it was worth seeing it.
Just to show
Yeah.
how long it takes to decode a JPEG on an MM1 with the 6807
What's the
screen that it's
Is there any information on what the MM1 CPU is?
Now it's going to start.
I think it's a 68K.
Okay.
A few
I think this one's a 6840.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you can see how some of the pixels are some stray pixels that are just not getting rendered properly.
In this picture, I think, in this video, how many of them are flashing? More strange artifacts over here.
And so I think what he's referring to artifacts is not what we think of as, with artifacts like with the red and blue on the CoCo. These are more like anomalies on the output. All right. So I mean, it's interesting. I mean, that's a pretty cool looking picture. Yeah. So the MM1, I guess, was kind of like a CoCo 4 when Tandy stopped making them. There was a few. There was the TC9, and then there was the MM1. There was a few different ones. Curtis Boyle says it did have a 68340 upgrade as well, but a 6870 at 15 megahertz. David Lord says, is that graphics mode compatible with the MC10? Yeah, Ed Snyder might make a board for that. Now, speaking of graphics, but this is our own David O'Connor, who from Pulse Eternal. And 2 weeks ago, we saw CoCo Controls Moog. And we saw the beginnings of something, and then you basically said, David, that you're now inspired to make an album, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I just got all carried away after that episode where we did that live demo, and I rewrote the little sequencing program and changed a few things, and then one thing led to another, and before long I had the basis of a new song. So it was... I wasn't expecting something to come together really quickly like that, but it was just one of those moments where I got totally inspired. It just happened.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and play part of it right now. And what I love about this video, we see the beginning of you starting the CoCo.
Yeah, I had to put that in.
It's not a big program.
No, it's just the beginnings of it. And the Mirage on the bottom right-hand corner has also got a 6809 CPU in it.
Ah, okay. Man, this sounds so good.
Sounds great at night in my observatory.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely reminds me a little bit too of the newer Tron soundtrack. There's your development board there, right? Just doing the audio output.
Yep. That sequencer in the bottom left-hand screen image there now is being controlled by the development board as well. All the timing's being controlled by the.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I love the multi-track video where you can see all the different instruments going on at the same time while you're also fiddling the dials over there.
Yeah, I wanted to sort of like people could choose what they wanted to focus their attention on each time they watched it.
And we've got 15 minutes of this to enjoy. So if you want more of that, check out Pulse Eternal's Facebook, our YouTube channel, or just pulseeternal.com, right, too?
Yeah, I haven't actually put that on pulseeternal.com yet. I will be doing that this week. But if people go to Facebook and they go to the Pulse Eternal page on Facebook, it's on there.
Okay.
And I will be uploading this to Bandcamp as a downloadable single. It's the beginning of a new album, so the whole album hasn't been done yet. But once the album is done, the whole album will be available as the previous album is through all the major outlets, iTunes and Google Play and Bandcamp and whatnot. So,
yeah, that's awesome, David. Nice job.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Sounds good. You know that music would sound really good if a dinosaur running and jumping.
No, I was thinking that. No, I was actually with the dinosaur game when I was talking earlier on about making up a track. I was actually thinking along these lines of putting a simple version of a track like that with the Sawtooth Wave and giving it to Simon to do his thing with.
Yeah, that's cool. So we also have, and Rob Inman posted this one. He found this video. So this is a guy named TJB Chris. And this is a video of cold starts. And I wasn't familiar with this term, but apparently cold start is when you've had a computer or a system that you have not turned on in quite some time, and you just plug it in and turn it on and hope that it turns on, So that's kind of the idea. And he's got a whole bunch of stuff. He's got a whole setup. But one of the things in his setup is a CoCo 3, CoCo Trois, with CM8 and floppies and all kinds of stuff. So we'll take a look at this real quick.
Hello everyone. Tonight I figured I would make a short video on cold starts. And this isn't cold starts of my car. You see a lot of those on the internet. For some reason they're actually kind of fascinating, watching somebody start up an old car, a new car. It's been sitting for a while. Well, anyway, we're not going to do that with cars. We're going to do that with computers tonight. So we'll do each member of the collection, including the red-headed stepchild of the collection. And we have the 1000SX, the Color Computer 3, the Model 4, which we'll do twice because there's Model 3 mode and Model 4 mode. Model 16 we'll do twice because there's Model 2 mode and Model 16 mode, or 6000 mode. And then the 4825 and the Model 100.
Wow, quite a collection there, huh?
Videos before. But anyway,
you'll go far.
You'll go far, Fletcher. So here we're going to jump over to the Tandy side.
8-bit IDE adapter in here, so the startup looks a little different.
And he's got his booting into DeskMate.
It takes a while to roll through a couple of hundred megs of free space on an old machine like this.
So his boots into DeskMate 3 as his kind of boot up menu system.
1000, so let's bail from that. And we can shut off the monitor.
All right, and then we're going over to the CoCo.
And shut off the machine. Start up the multi-pack interface.
Turn on the multi-pack.
Floppy drive. CM8.
With a door.
And color computer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There you go. Disc
There is
extended
the
color
CoCo 3.
basic.
And just
Bam.
for the sake of doing this, I will do the cold start routine on the machine. That's Control, Alt, and Reset. And we'll get the three Muggeteers, as they were commonly called. Those are 3 Microware employees. Microware Systems.
Okay. And then we'll move on to Model 3.
ST506 hard drive emulator. A very good one, too. This even has a replacement ROM. The C-ROM has been replaced by a custom ROM that allows you to boot straight from Fred. So, LS-DOS is, well, essentially what was TRIS-DOS. TRIS-DOS 6.0, 6.1, 6.2 were done by Logical Systems. Give it a few seconds. Okay, here it comes. And we'll do LDOS. Now you'll notice the characters are a little bigger. In Model 4 mode, that was 80 by 24, 4 megahertz. Model 3 mode, this is 64 by 16 display, 2 megahertz. So this can run all Model 3 software. That beep means the hard drive is ready. Now to get it to boot from floppy control, I'm going to have to hold repeat and press break when the screen lights out. So I will do that.
That sounds complicated. Hold repeat and press bake.
8-inch floppies.
And apparently I missed it.
Yeah, those 8-inch floppies run continuously too.
There it goes.
That's something, huh?
I'll run that again to do Xenix, but that's unfortunate. Either way, here this goes. It would be booting off these 8-inch floppy drives if they were connected, but we're booting off the emulator.
Things make some noise, man. Sounds like sounds like I'm in an airport right now. There's a prop plane out there getting ready to taxi for takeoff. Tandy Corporation.
Now, since this one wants the date, I'll just type something in.
It doesn't have a real-time clock, man.
Type in the actual date.
Like an animal, he has to type it in.
And
yeah.
TRIS-DOS ready. So now I will power it off, and we'll give it a second. And then I will let it...
By the way, for the price of this machine, you should have got a real-time clock.
Yeah, right?
A real-time clock for each machine.
Yeah, right?
Now go home. System halted. Okay.
Did he-
Like, as it would be in a home.
Was this like a multimedia
I've
PC?
changed it to just make MS-DOS the active partition.
Yeah, he's got creative CD-ROM in there.
It's got quite the collection.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's not a sensation, but it's
80486. Okay.
40. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, as Curtis pointed out in the chat, that hard drive on top of the Model 16 is the same one that would be used on the color computer.
Okay.
And this is the controller that would go in the color computer to drive that hard drive.
Oh, Windows 3.1.
I don't know how they expected it to work with a cable this long, but...
If you heard me complain about not having ta-da.wave in my previous videos, well, I took care of that, so let's just...
There's this ta-da.wave. Huh?
Space, and we're done. That's that.
And then we get to Fletcher.
You'll go far, Fletcher.
Probably the fastest of them all. Model 100. Here it goes. Power switch on the side. We'll just flip that on.
Boom. Look at that. It's on. Instant on.
That's
Ready
it.
to go.
That's the Model 100. Off she goes. All right, so those are my cold starts.
That was it, huh? So I don't know.
Yes, I stumbled upon this guy by accident, clicking on a few things, and I don't know if he's a member of our community or not, but he knows a lot about CoCo stuff and Tandy stuff. So
Yeah, well, about a lot of stuff, yeah. Absolutely.
Looks like he was afraid to leave them all on.
Well, he doesn't want the house lights to dim.
Yeah. So that's neat. So that's retro computer cold starts. Very cool stuff. I think this was a similar video that Ed Snyder showed just on YouTube. I think we showed the Facebook version of that video. And then this is something I think that Matchy posted, which is a direct multi-channel CoCo PSG, but controlled with a standard analog joystick. So this is controlling the audio by moving the joystick around, I think. Lower frequency. So like the pitch and the tempo seem to go higher as you move to the left.
And there are CoCo PSGs available for sale on Zipster Zone.
Sounds a little bit like a lightsaber or like a light cycle or something, you know? It's a cool sound though. It's not a sawtooth sound.
Welcome to Tron.
Yeah, it sounds kind of Tron-ish, you know? Volume.
That's theremin mode there.
Do not attempt to adjust your TV.
I love the sound of this. This sounds really cool. Just imagine things like driving by like traffic and stuff, you know? So that's
I actually
cool.
I posted a reply to his. Let me try all that again. I posted a reply to that when he posted about it and mentioned that it would be cool to connect up an interface to the joystick port with a light sensor on it, and you could actually turn it into an actual theremin and have the CoCo acting like a Moog theremin, where you use your hands to play the instruments, move it up and down and left and right, and for volume and pitch.
Yeah, didn't what's his name do that? Green Mountain Micro guy.
Dennis Bathory Kits.
Yeah. Yes, he had. You walk in a room and you can move your hands and stuff, and you get a symphony.
Yeah. I actually experimented with something similar to that in the mid '90s. I had a lens and some photo transistors and some lights, and I had it all connected up to synthesizers back then. And you could move your hands about and control the synthesizers just by moving your hands.
You'll need to do that again.
Didn't Spock play one on Star Trek?
What was that?
I think Spock played one on Star Trek.
Oh, theremin.
Yeah.
The theremin's where you just kind of move your hands around, right?
Yeah, it's got an aerial on one side and it's got a loop, like a metal loop on the other side, and you play it with two hands. And you move one hand up and down and the other hand in and out to change the pitch and the volume.
That's what she said.
What is it, resonance? Is it a resonance thing?
What was that?
Resonance? Is that what does it?
It's it uses, from what I believe, it uses RF technology. It uses magnet. Yeah, it's kind of like resonance. Yeah, I guess. It's a capacitance more than resonance. It's your body basically picks up what the antenna is transmitting, and then when you put the other hand near the loop is then picking up what your body is radiating from what it's received from the antenna, basically.
It's kind of like the old plasma light bulbs where you move your fingers around and the little lightning bolts attracted to your fingers. It's kind of like that, but with sound, right? So as you're moving around, it's making sound based on your kind of electricity
similar
input.
principle.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, we've concluded our news. We had our dude, the game, right? Dino Run. How cool was that?
Very cool.
Yeah. Bruce Moore says it was featured in the Beach Boys song "Good Vibrations." Now, Rob Inman, you've got some icons to show us, and then you also mentioned that you were gonna maybe show us some bonus content from VCF West. So
thank you. Yes,
I've got you maximized now, sir, and I'm not sharing anything, so you have control of the audio, video, and everything else.
Great. So I'll show you a couple of icons I created. Nick Marentes has been creating a lot of icons as well, and Nick Marentes has, I think, finished the Sierra Online games, and he's also done Rescue on Fractalus and the other Epics game. I just kind of picked a few at random that I found interesting and that I wanted to try out, and so I've been getting into it, and I feel like I've got a process down and starting to create some more icons. And so I'll show you a few that I've done. This is just for a context, so you can see what the screen looks like from G Shell that the icons will eventually go in. And I think most of you have seen this. So I'm gonna hit the clear key and go to my other window.
Are you multitasking now?
Yes, that's right. I'm multitasking.
Wow.
We'll explain what multitasking is to the Commodore users and the 652 people later. So, okay. So on this, you've seen some of these are new. You can see one, the one called icon.new. I saw something online that made me think of the software from Eric Wolf called Newspaper 09. So for whatever reason, I picked that one to try first. I'll just load it up. And then I started doing a few others. So anyone can do these. There's no, you don't have to apply to become an icon creator for ease of use, the ease of use product.
Okay.
So if you want to download ease of use beta 5 and just type Super Ike, which I'll show you what that Super Ike you can see there.
Okay.
Just type that from any window and you'll go right into the icon editor and you can start playing around with it. So if you get a good idea, or there's kind of an obscure OS 9 software that you want to create an icon for, or you just want to do one for fun, you can just go in there and post it to Discord so we can all take a look at it. And anyway, that's available to anyone. So this is the icon editor for the newspaper. You can see the smaller icon where at least what I was trying to do is get the newspaper to look like it was folded over. And
okay.
And I mean, it is what it is, right? So I'll switch over to load the other icons here. So it's going to read all the icons in the directory. I don't need to go through every single one, but I will show you a fun one that I did here.
Now, if anybody really wants to see this process, they can subscribe to your Twitch channel and have you live stream this. Watch you live stream your icon creating.
Oh, yes. I was live streaming. I was live streaming icon editing for hours. I had no viewers.
Amazing.
But Marco and I think a few other people, Tom C, joined out of pity.
Yeah, that would about qualify. Pity. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So anyway, you can see in the top right, I worked on a waterfall icon for our major community project to port the first Nick Morente's game over to OS 9.
Yes.
So that's a serious icon that I created. I joke about the ninja icon being for the Last Ninja because I'm looking at an old Radio Shack catalog. But of course, the Last Ninja never came out. It's for Kim Guy 2B Ninja. And then you can see one I did for Interbank Incident, which I might change a little bit because it looks like more like a financial application, like Microsoft Money or something. The last one.
Okay.
Yep.
I see the bank. I see the dollar sign. I see the mouse pointer. I mean, that's you know what might be cool? Just take one of the faces from one of the characters.
That's one of the things I was thinking of doing.
Put a gun over it.
And then Supercom, Dave Phillipson is very active in Discord, and we're always talking about this or that with Wi-Fi modems. And we were talking about there was a Supercom icon once upon a time for multi-view, and it had a Superman logo. So I thought, well, let me try to see if I can kind of hand draw that. So this one, the Supercom icon, I did, totally kind of hand drew it in the icon editor. And then I was playing around with what I wanted. The the old Microsoft Windows, when you were moving a file or you were connecting to you're connecting to anything, it always had that ... of what you were moving data from to where it was going. Anyway, it made me think of putting like a modem to a ... transmitting to something else. And since we don't actually, since these days we actually use Wi-Fi, so I thought a
Yeah,
modem to
modem to
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
is exactly what a terminal program does these days. And then you can see if you go to the left, there's a game that technically could come to OS 9,
Gunstar
but almost certainly will never.
on
And
ROM cartridge.
yes, that's right. So I didn't create an icon like for Popstar Pilot, which technically cannot be done in OS 9 because of the hardware scrolling. Gunstar can, and we'll see. If someday Nick wants to tackle that. But I just kind of like the Gunstar ship, and I thought, oh, maybe let me see what that looks like.
Yeah, it looks good.
So anyway, that's really it. I encourage everybody to try it out. It's not as painful as it seems. And if you don't have a high-res joystick like I don't, and right now that really would help if you have one, but you can use high resolution in the keyboard mouse. So there is a way to hold down the shift key and actually get the high resolution, in that if you want to do some careful selection of the blocks. But anyway, if you want to move over to, if I can share my screen.
You can share.
For the VCF stuff.
Go ahead.
Let's try that. Share. Okay, I think this will work.
There we go. Flickr, Rob Inman.
Oh, you are seeing Flickr. Okay. Oh, I see it. Okay. So let me click on the album here. And I'm gonna, Stevie, I'll trust you to kind of stop me if I'm going too fast, because I didn't see the episode because I was at the event where you guys were seeing a lot of this stuff already. And so if you want me to pause, just let me know.
Okay, there's Mikey.
Mikey and his dad. You can see the table. Rick Adams, Shanghai.
Looks like that guy was scanning QR codes, huh?
Yep. Yep. People were mostly scanning QR codes. The Android people were very confused about how that worked. I thought the Android people would be, really knowledgeable.
Yeah, Google Lens. I can hover my phone over anything, and it knows if it's a business card or a barcode or a QR code.
The Android people were just like, "What? What's a QR code? What do I do?"
No, I don't.
Really? No, I'm serious. It was amazing. Anyway, again, Popstar Pilot. I think this is the table again. You can see the dragon. Here's the CoCo 3 FPGA, of course. We threw up a bunch of different games like Chronos Rift throughout the day. This is the CoCo VGA running. What's that game called? I forgot.
Sailor Man.
Thank you. Again, picture of the Gimme X.
Yeah. Fast forward to the stuff that we haven't seen, like the museum stuff.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you saw some of this. This is one of my personal obsessions, a Sharp 68000 computer, but Carmen Sandiego, Nightmare Highway, which is in 100% machine language.
And basic Nightmare Highway.
We had to load Cersei's Island off of
Tim Lindner.
Tim Lindner. Okay. More table.
Mikey.
More Cersei. Basic 09 demo. All right. Well, let me move to the gallery here. How do I get back to? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Just flip through here. Oh, this we're getting to the permanent installation. This guy Saj has a music. He's a music creator, and he was asking about how do you create music for the CoCo, and I would talk about David O'Connor and the CoCo PSG, and he was very interested in the chip and how all that would happen. So anyway, I'm going to send him the link to the other episode from a few weeks ago with David, where David was doing all of that musical stuff. So now you know
PDP-1.
PDP-1. Now the only thing that this installation was open, it did not have the Space Wars the famous game that was created on the oscilloscope. It didn't have that running, but you can usually play that. If you go to the Computer Science Museum in Mountain View, you can actually play Space War, the first video game ever, electronic video game anyway. So this is there's a bar. I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Yep.
So there's a bar here that kind of prevents you from walking into the work area that they set up.
Okay.
And it has controls, so you can control the spaceship on the screen. But again, it wasn't running, so that was unfortunate. But you can see they've set up how it would look in a real environment, and they actually have a picture in the background of an actual PDP-1 being used.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Here's a bigger shot of the room. And then they talked about, just the history of the PDP-1. And I'll post the link to this gallery in the YouTube chat so that we can continue to move through it. And if you want to go and look at it, you can click on the link. And then we get to International Business Machines. 1401 data processing system, and this is a permanent installation in the museum. And these are some photos from the room. You'll see some bigger photos from the room in a second, and some video. Here's the history of the machine. I don't know what to call it. It's a computer. It's just a really big one. And a picture of the larger room that it's running in.
Yeah.
Those are considered mini computers.
Yeah, it reminds me of old movies.
I don't know if you can hear the video or the audio or not. It's
not very much now.
You don't really need the audio. But anyway, what he's doing here is he's printing people's names on the plotter, and he's doing that by feeding in what do you call punch cards over on this side of the room. And this is, if you couldn't, believe it or not, this is a portable card punch. So, if you wanted to just kind of put this in your suitcase, you could punch cards. So,
pretty portable.
And this is a bigger view of the tape drive, a little bit bigger than the CoCo cassette drive that we're used to. The printer, and you can see the portable mechanical punch card. Just take it on the train. Just start getting your card. What's that?
Like Fletcher with the Model 100.
Yeah, no, Fletcher was around a little bit earlier.
Now, were all punch cards manually generated? There was no computer generated punch cards?
That's not. I don't know.
Well, it seems like that would be subject to human error then too. Like if we had to punch in the information in the punch card and somebody made a mistake, you got garbage in, garbage out, right?
That's how you coded, though.
Yeah.
You coded with punch cards.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you could get. I guess you could get programs on punch card, but I think most of the time you had to enter it yourself.
Wow. You wrote programs on punch card. Like COBOL was punch card oriented. Different columns mean different things.
So anyway, this is a punch card sorter.
Wow.
Have a lot of them. This is the sorter again. So I guess you feed them in here and somehow they end up in the right bins. I don't know how that works.
Interesting.
Anyway, the outside sign, and I'll flip through these very quickly. Did you see some of these? This is the one of the British computer makers. This is the Spectrum exhibit, I think. That's a Sun Microsystems. I work with some people on my Oracle team, so I was taking pictures of the Sun stuff. Hypnosis by Relay. You love your job. You love your boss. You are overpaid. Vote for this exhibit. And anyway, I'm going to fly through these. Mikey,
back to the CoCo.
Kids, somebody's thigh. I think. Oh, this is Digger 3. Somebody tried the Batcave, which I don't. Do that carefully. It's a. This was an Atari. He took it out to show the 1 megabyte board because they had a sign like crowing that the Atari was running at, I don't know what it was, 14 gigahertz, 14 megahertz or something like that. But it really doesn't. It runs very much like Sockmaster's 4 megahertz upgrade. Really, only certain things that can get past the bus can run at the higher speed, and the rest of it crawls back down to normal speed. So shame on you, Atari people. And then I'm getting one of the reasons I wanted to show this set is because I think you were playing an interview with the Arduino guy.
Yeah, we're going to try and get that for next week.
Yep. So this is his booth.
Okay.
And these are some of the devices. I think I have a couple of photos of the like the form where you can kind of order them. I know that this photo is a little bit blurry, but you can order 6502s and 8080s and 6809s and Z80s. Here you go. You've got some. You got an 8031, an 8085, 1802, whatever.
And it's got the real CPU on there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Are these are on the Arduino? I don't know how it works. Just one of your Tony Capolini.
Yeah, I've actually got a slideshow from the guy that he sent me. I've looked at it, but it's a little bit over my head. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway, that's the guy.
Okay.
And you can see it. You can see this closer now. It connect 8-bit microprocessors to the Arduino microcontroller system. It emulates the ROM, RAM, and the I/O. And I guess we're going to talk about that more next week. But here's more information about his goals to make a PCB for every 8-bit processor. Anyway, if he's coming on next week, we can talk about it then.
Yep. Cool. Cool.
Xerox, the first mouse. This is the mouse that Steve Jobs famously visited and decided that would work really well for him. And
Xerox made the first GUI too.
Yep. Oh yeah. If you want to see there's a Xerox Star. That's a later.
Yep.
This is an emulator. Yep, of the Star.
Yep. Windowing environment. Yep.
It's all the spectrums you could ever want were there, or need.
More speckies than you could shake a stick at. Okay.
And this was the OS 9 guy. I think we were trying to get him. There was an OS 9 level 1 guy there, Grok. I think he joined the Discord server. Anyway, he knows a lot about OS 9, and I said we could really use your help. So anyway, he was very excited. That was him on the right.
Okay.
Knows all about OS 9. You saw the Apple ones probably ad nauseum. We don't need to go through that. And this is from work. So let me just, I don't think there's any, here we go.
Apple one.
Let me go back to the album. Oh, I did. You know what? I'll show that these two are from work, but then after work, this was the same. Like a 5-day trip. We went to something called the. Now I'm in. You've got to travel with me here. We were in Mountain View, and now we're in Schaumburg, Illinois, outside of Chicago. But we were at Pac-Man Entertainment. I don't know if people in the Chicago area know about it, but it's a pretty cool space. Here's the opening view of Pac-Man.
That looks like the one from Pixels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the history of Pac-Man is behind. And then you've got pinball machines and you've got arcade cabinets. This game was very suspiciously like a new Nick Marentes game that hasn't come out. I didn't want to point any fingers.
Cheap knockoff, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think we're going into more, other photos from the event. We played Super Pitfall. I guess there were more photos.
Hey, there's Tim playing Daggerath like the idiot from the book.
Like the idiot. Yep, let's see. We played... this was where...
Simon's demo.
So this is interesting, right? We were playing the demo a couple times, and I did put my hand up to block the R-rated section.
Yeah.
But then I was talking to, I did an interview. You wouldn't know it because we weren't able to capture it on audio. But I did an interview with Bill Hurd, the creator of the Commodore 128.
Wow.
And I wanted to show him what the CoCo could do without any kind of sound chip. And anyway, I don't know that he remembered much about my interview with him, but he definitely remembered the R-rated part of Simon's demo. And he asked if he could get her number. So
you'll go far, Fletcher.
Anyway, I mean, this is just people. I mean, I guess I can play this. It's people playing Cersei's Island, which is very popular.
Cool.
So I'll stop that, and that's this guy. I've got to switch. Oh, and then I was walking around and doing other things. More people playing Cersei's Island, Plato Term, more retro stuff. But I really wanted to show you the IBM and the PDP. So I will stop sharing my screen. And I'll post the link to this if people want to look at these more carefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
cool.
So how do I stop sharing here?
There's got to be a way to do it.
New share, stop video. Oh, stop share.
Yeah, I can stop your share too.
Oh, there you go.
All right, very, very cool. All right, well, we're coming up on 3 hours. Not a bad show. Not a bad show at all. Definitely thanks to Paul Fiscarelli and Simon Jonason for giving us that world premiere debut reveal of Dino Run. Cool game, Paul.
Undino.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you letting us show it on the show today.
Oh, thanks for letting us be the conduit for that. So that's very cool.
We have to know, is it Dino or Dino? What do the authors call it?
It's whatever you guys want it to be. I mean, it's Dino Wars, so if people want Run Dino Run and
Run Dino Run.
Be Dino.
Very cool. David O'Connor, thank you for being here, and thanks for working on a brand new album of music inspired by the CoCo, generated by the CoCo. CoCo Music will be coming soon.
I actually chose the music spelling is actually the German spelling of the word music, and the hyphen in between it. The reason for that title was because it's a throwback to the 70s period of Berlin School electronic music, where all that came from. So that's where the title.
Very cool. Very cool. And Rob Inman, thank you for being a champion of ease of use and icons and OS 9 in general. For sure.
OS 9 is the future.
OS 9 is the future. It's been properly designed.
Right.
Nick Marota with your Color baseball in the background there. Thanks for being here.
Cartridge. Thank you.
Yeah.
Always my pleasure.
Dave Phillipson says he's got to go mow the lawn now. All right, Dave.
Yes.
Yes.
For real or the game?
Yeah, the advanced lawn mowing simulator. For those who are not satisfied with the basic simulators, there is an advanced one. Mark Bosley, thank you for being here. And everybody who was here earlier today, thank you for being here. Tom C., you still with us, Tom?
Indeed, I am.
Tom C.'s been here from beginning to end. History might have been made. Tom C. has been on an entire episode. And the world's a better place for it. Al Hartman is back on. Al Hartman from Jersey. How you guys doing there, Al Hartman?
These guys is doing okay.
All right.
Good to have you back, Al.
In Jersey.
Jersey. Yes. All right.
Yeah, where we make tomatoes and lots of other good things. Bad pizza, though.
And in the live chat, we've had Mark B., Ken Reichert, Matchy has been here, Curtis Boyle, Al Hartman, Bill Noble, Ken Reichert, Rob Inman, Al Hartman, Ken Reichert, Matchy, Dave Phillipson has been in the live chat. And Dave and Ken and Matchy and Curtis and Matchy and Nick and Curtis. And Mark Overholzer stopped by. Mark D. Overholzer, Ken Reichert, Matchy, Rob Inman, Curtis Boyle, all kinds of people here in the live chat. Richard Atkinson's, I believe he's in the UK. I think he's one of our Dragon friends. And Ben Drake's from the UK. Explorer VR has been here. Dragon Bites has been here in the live chat. Who else has been here? All kinds of people. You know who you are. Thanks for being here. D. Bruce was here. D. Bruce Moore. And David Lord was here. And Bill Noble, Disney Saints fan, was here. Thomas Sorensen. And David Lord and DeBruce and Thomas Sorensen, Thomas and David Lord. Oh my. Richard Atkinson's and DeBruce and you name it. All kinds of people here. I'm scrolling through here. I'm probably going to miss a few people. But you guys know who you are. Thank you for being here every week. And I would just say, send us some feedback to CoCoTalk at CoCoTalk.live. Let us know, how we can best serve the people who watch and listen to this show. We want to make sure we're giving enough ways to do it, but I also don't want to oversaturate and overextend, so we kind of want to reach that Goldilocks part where it's just right? And I think most people say, you know what, YouTube is fine, audio is fine, live is not that necessary. A few people said I like the audio replay, the video replay from Podbean or iTunes. That's probably a minority that likes that, but it's good to know. So would love to get that feedback. CoCoTalk at CoCoTalk.live. How do you enjoy the show? What way? And also suggestions on, if we're missing something here. You know what? It'd be nice if you guys could do this. We're always looking for that feedback. So make sure you send that. And we're going to wrap it up. We're coming up 3 hours, 5 o'clock. Not a bad show. Good show time. This is an average show length. So I'm going to run the outro, and then we'll come back for final words and parting thoughts. So we'll see you here in a minute. This concludes another episode of CoCoTalk, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTalk, visit us on the web at CoCoTalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTalk at CoCoTalk.live.
CoCoTalk is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTalk is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at CoCoTalk.live.
CoCoTalk is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTalk is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCoTalk would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Diffendaffer for making my head explode. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The CoCoTalk theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. And that's all she wrote, folks.
What's so funny, Nick Marotta?
Nick Marotta.
The last clip makes me laugh.
And Grant Leedy came in for the best part of the show, the end. Grant Leedy's back. Hey, Grant. Or not. All right. Parting thoughts. David O'Connor, final words.
Sorry, I was
how's that for a big long word? I can't think of anything else to say.
PulseEternal.com. How about that?
That's a good word.
Plug it. Rob Inman, final words, parting thoughts.
If anyone's interested, I might be doing a RoboCop streaming session either later tonight or tomorrow, where I play all the different versions of RoboCop and stream that, including the CoCo 3 version.
Okay.
So I guess keep an eye out for that on Discord.
On Discord, you'll put out a message on Discord. Okay.
Will that be done on Twitch?
It will be on Twitch and YouTube. I use Restream.
There you go. Dragon Bites says, thanks everyone for the show. Enjoy it as always. Thank you, Dragon's Bites. Dave Phillipson says, cool show, guys. Gotta go mow my lawn. Nick Marotta, parting thoughts, final words.
It's just great to see continued interest and development in the community with the new games coming out, and it's a great time to be a CoCo nut.
Absolutely. Paulie Walnuts Fiscarelli, final thoughts.
Yeah, just thanks again for giving us the opportunity to share that today. And looking forward to catching some of you at Tandy Assembly next month.
Very cool. Are you going to be able to make VCF Midwest at all?
I won't be there.
As we were going to continue the tradition of going to that Fire and Wine place on Friday night. Yeah.
We'll definitely have to do for CoCo Fest next year then.
Absolutely.
Bulk of us are there. Sounds good.
All right, Mark Bosley, final thoughts.
Brain fried. It's dinner time.
There you go. There you go. Tom C. from Jersey, final thoughts.
Nah, I got nothing to say here. I mean, just
you know what, Tom? You never even showed us your whole setup.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like becoming the running gag.
For that, saving it for another day.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, we want to hear about it. We want to see it. We want to know what your intentions are and what we can expect. But
6 months ago already or whatever.
No, I'm talking about your new setup with all your toys, your microscopes and your solder stations.
But it was kind of interesting though. I did kind of start my CoCo 2. I kept saying I was going to start, and while we were doing that, I actually took the keyboard apart and cleaned it. And you should have seen it before I started it. So
that looks good.
I got a really good start on that. I was amazed at how well it cleaned up.
Nice.
Wow,
looks new.
You want to clean my keyboard?
I got the case going too, but it's got some decent scuffs. But
okay, we got some bathroom tile stains that are kind of problematic. Any suggestions there?
Just spray 9, really.
All right. And Al Hartman, any final thoughts from you in New Jersey? All right, Al's getting mugged.
New Jersey, a man gets mugged every.
Yes.
I'm not paid to think. That's above my pay grade.
There you go. All right, and Grant Leedy, the final thoughts. Last man, last word.
Thank you very much, Stevie. No, awesome show. Thanks again, Paul, for the you and your team's contribution for the game. I look forward to downloading that later today.
Grant, can you do me a favor?
What?
Can you pronounce Paul's last name?
I'm not even don't even go there.
Because you're usually calling him Paul Fitzarelli. Hey, you know that Paul Fitzarelli.
I've heard much worse.
Yeah, so. Fitzarelli. He's kind of half Irish, half Italian. Fitzarelli. Yeah.
That's right.
And you called Grant Greg. So you're talking
All right, guys. I'm gonna press the button. Say goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye, everybody.
All right. 3
Bye,
Mississippi,
everyone.
2 Mississippi, and goodbye.